Did you know one of Hollywood's most fearless comedians may have been silenced for saying too much? In July 2014, Joan Rivers was caught on camera outside a New York building. Paparazzi asked when America would see its first gay president. Joan smirked, then casually dropped a bomb. We already have one. And Michelle
is a transgender woman.
I don't think we were supposed to see that. Today, I'm going to be diving into the darkest TikToks on the internet. I did not know what I was getting myself into. And you're going to want to stay till the end of the video because these TikToks will change your reality. What's scarier than TikToks we're about to watch today is the fact that 75% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe for more scary videos. Thank you.
He saved his girlfriend from a burning building and then she left him and ruined his life. Kim Yosh was a star basketball player in South Korea. He had a bright future ahead of him, probably even going to the NBA, but it was all shattered in a single second. During a house fire, Kim risked his life to save his girlfriend from a burning building. He managed to get her out safely, but he got trapped and couldn't save himself. The horrible injuries he suffered were life-changing, but what happened next is even more disturbing. After seeing how he looks now, his girlfriend left him. And even worse, his basketball career was completely over. The sport he loved and the woman he loved were both taken from him in an instant. His fame and popularity came to a screeching halt. Everything he worked for his entire life was ripped away from him. And today, Kim lives in a small farm town far away from his basketball spotlight. His story is a painful reminder that heroes don't always get happy endings, but it's not over yet. Sometimes doing the right and noble thing leaves you broken and scarred. But he says he proves something even more powerful every single day. Real strength begins where glory ends, and true heroes are made when no one is watching. Kim now says he's happy and wouldn't change a thing. He's not even mad at his ex-girlfriend.
I know I joke around sometimes to lighten the situation, but this one overall is just terrible and devastating. This dude risked his life to save this girl, and she left him and he lost everything. You know, I wish the best for this dude in life. I hope everything's good. This is actually like really tragic.
In October 2024, someone noticed that one of their electrical outlets in their home looked different from the others. It looked like it had a camera inside, but it wasn't super obvious. So they turned to Reddit and posted photos of the outlet, hoping someone would either confirm or deny their suspicions. They also explained their situation further in a comment reading, "I've had a stalker in my apartment broken into in the past. I got a camera detector for peace of mind, not knowing it would read anything, but it led me to this and detected radio waves and reflected back with the infrared. The bottom ground looks different than the other GFCI plugs in the rest of the complex." Right away, several people agreed with the OP in that something was definitely off about the outlet. Then, just 40 minutes after the post went up, one user confirmed the OP 100% had a hidden camera in their home by tracking down the exact model for sale online. And according to its product page, it's a wireless camera that could transmit 4K video completely over Wi-Fi. Given the OP's history with a stalker, the same person was likely behind installing the hidden camera as well. Many strongly suggested the OP get out of the house and call the police. Unfortunately, what happened next remains a mystery. The account that made the post was a throwaway the OP created solely for—
This is really odd, but what's the benefit of this? You're gonna watch my ankles when I walk around the crib? I mean, I guess he could see when you're home, but you know, you're just gonna get a nice view of my ankle. I mean, he is stalking her, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's something he likes. But yeah, make sure that nobody comes into your house and installs cameras. I didn't think I'd ever have to say that in my life, but I guess I do now, so.
That DoorDash girl situation has to be one of the craziest situations I've ever seen on this fucking app. For those of you who don't know what happened with that DoorDash girl, basically she was delivering food to a man and she accused the man that she was delivering food to of SA. And the reason she accused him of SA is because when she was delivering the DoorDash order to the driver, she ended up seeing the man that she was supposed to deliver DoorDash to passed out on his couch, but he had his you-know-what exposed. Yeah, when this DoorDash driver was delivering DoorDash to her customer, she ended up seeing him completely naked. But here's the thing, when she was going to deliver that food to that man, he specifically told her to leave the order at the door. Basically meaning that she walked into this man's house uninvited and ended up seeing him completely naked passed out on the couch. And when she entered this man's house, she was recording the entire thing. Basically, this woman had this man on camera with his junk out and posted it all over the internet. As a result of her doing this, she ended up getting fired from her job as a DoorDasher. Now, I will say this, nobody should ever have to be exposed to seeing somebody completely naked without prior knowledge beforehand. If you are to see somebody naked, unless that person got like pantsed or some absolutely absurd shit happened to the point where that person got fully exposed in front of you without them intentionally doing it, you must give that person consent to be naked around you. That is a given. However, when you are delivering DoorDash to somebody and the customer specifically tells you to leave their order at their door and you end up going inside their house anyways and seeing them completely naked inside of their own home, all while recording them and posting it online, yeah, that's a completely different story. That lady should have never had to experience that. That is pretty traumatizing and pretty fucking awful. But at the same time, she should have just left the dude's order at his door. That was literally what he told you to do. And when you enter somebody's house without their permission, you might just see that person in a state that you do not want to see them in. For example, that person might be completely passed out on their couch naked.
To be fair, your job was to just leave the food at the door like he said and then go about your day, not walk in and record his meat and put it all over the internet. That's kind of crazy. And then you tell him that he assaulted you?
If you ever experienced something shocking, well, let me tell you that it's nothing compared to what she experienced, because you will never believe what she found in her son's room. It all started when she was home. She was basically walking until she noticed that her son's room was very messy. So she was like, oh my god. You know what? Let's clean it up a little bit. Oh, she entered the room and decided to start with the closet. You know, she was basically cleaning until she noticed something. A container. When she noticed that container, she was like, why is there a container hidden behind these clothes? You know what? Let's open it. So she opened that container and she found a plastic bag. And you will not believe what's inside it. Okay, warning, this is really shocking. She found a human head. Yup, a human head. So when she saw a real head of somebody she panicked and she called the police. So when she called them, police picked up. They were like, hello, what's the emergency? So she responded, I just found a human head in my son's room. You need to come right now and investigate with him. In this moment, police were shocked. They were like, a real human head? You're not joking, right? No, I'm not even joking. I was basically cleaning his room and I found a real human head. You need to come right now, please. Alright, keep calm, madam. Police is coming. Just tell me, where is your son? I think he's outside right now. Okay, understood. We're coming. So, police came and this is her son. They found him outside. They were like, whoa, 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 hold on, bro. We need to talk. And when he saw police outside, he started acting like, hello? What are y'all doing here? Boom. He's never getting out of jail. You can bring him the best lawyer you know, he's never getting out. He was basically found guilty after this man right here, this homeless man right here, for no reason. He saw him, and then he started taking his body parts home. I feel sorry about his mom because she didn't do anything, she didn't know about this, but yet she's still traumatized and she will be traumatized forever and she will never see her son again.
Guys, I think I know the reason why we can't go to Antarctica. The lady just told me. She said the reason why we can't go to Antarctica is because there's people there that look just like us. No. Do I believe that? No. Because that lady always got something extreme to say. That's what she said. That's why we can't go there. Because apparently, allegedly, there's people there that look just like us, if you know what I mean. How does that lady know so much? Who is she connected to? But it makes so much sense. It really does. The ice wall. You can't go there. Why is that? Don't forget, guys, when we were born, you know what? Shut up! You know what happens. You know what happens. And with that, they're saying that they can CL you. Put you in a different place, different country, different continent. No. That can't be true. You know why? Because this video is for entertainment purposes only. That lady doesn't know what she's talking about. I told her to stop texting me. She keeps texting me from different numbers. She said that's why when you're born, they take, you know? And just to think that we thought it was just land that we couldn't explore. No, that lady said that there's people there that look just like us. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about this. I'm out.
A video that happened in the Dominican Republic. It's like a funeral service and they have this like flower wreath, and one of the flower wreaths is shaking really violently, and then next to it the other one isn't, so it can't be wind that's like triggering this flower wreath. So what they're saying is that a ghost is shaking it.
Whoa.
And let me know what you guys think.
Nah. I got chills. That's trippy, dude. First of all, I would leave as soon as I see some shit like that. I'm like, I'm out.
And you guys saw the other flower
Yeah,
wreath
all the
was
wreaths,
not
yeah.
moving, bro.
I do want to say this. We always say this when we talk about apparitions and people think that it's their family member. It's most likely not.
It's hard to say.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
I do not think that's fake at all, bro. Because why the fuck would they pull a fake stunt in the middle of a fucking funeral?
Exactly.
Like who in the
How do you get everybody in on it too? You know,
who in their right mind is gonna do that?
That would be fucked up. They're messing.
Okay, breaking news. Hundreds of apps and websites are down right now after a major worldwide internet outage. Here's what we know. Government websites, banks, social media platforms, gaming networks, crypto exchanges. I mean, you name it, it was probably down or is still down by the time you're watching this. Now, we do know the root cause of all of this, and it seems to be Amazon Web Services in the United States. That's basically Amazon's cloud computing division, which is used by millions of large companies around the world. We're talking Snapchat, Roblox, WhatsApp, PlayStation, Fortnite, Clash of Clans, Zoom, Coinbase, Ring doorbells, even the UK's tax website, and the list goes on. Does that mean no tax today? I don't know, maybe, hopefully. Now currently, and this is going to come as no shock to anyone, they have no idea what the cause of this is currently, but they say we see signs of recovery, but it is yet another wild reminder just how much can be affected from one issue on the other side of the world. I'll keep you guys updated.
Morbid Facts, Part 755. In September of 2013, 26-year-old Tiffany Witten walked into a Walmart in Marietta, Georgia, and was never seen again. Around 2 a.m., she was caught shoplifting and confronted by store security. Panicked, Tiffany kicked off her shoes and bolted out of the store barefoot, leaving behind her phone, purse, and everything she owned. Her boyfriend who was with her stayed behind and gave conflicting stories about what had happened to her. At first, security assumed she'd return for her belongings, but she never did. Several days passed before anyone officially reported her missing. Despite mass searches, tips, and national coverage, no trace of Tiffany has ever been found. On September 25, 1980, Led Zeppelin drummer John Bonham drank an estimated 40 shots of vodka in less than 24 hours. He passed out at Jimmy Page's house where he was put to bed but never woke up. The next morning, Bonham was found dead at just 32 years old, having choked on his own vomit while unconscious from the alcohol. His death forced Led Zeppelin to permanently disband, cementing his legacy as one of rock's most tragic losses. In the summer of 1962, Old Yeller author Fred Gibson's family was suddenly struck by tragedy. His son Mike discovered their dog chained up in a shed and brutally clubbed to death, a sight so devastating that he took his own life just a few days later. Not long after, Gibson's marriage also fell apart, while the dog's killer was never identified.
There's a lot of cases like this, but what makes this so strange is the fact that they never found her ever. She disappeared and was just gone. They never found a trace of her, nothing. With the world we live in and the technology we have, the detectives we have, I'm actually surprised that she's never been found out.
An arrest may finally be made in regards to this entire David situation. It's about time. So for those of you that did not see, David has been renting a home in Hollywood for a while, and the homeowner of that home recently hired a private investigator, and it's being reported up at the top here that the private investigator says he conveyed surveillance video to the Los Angeles Police Department that shows the last person driving the singer David's Tesla before it was abandoned in the Hollywood Hills with the body of a teen runaway inside. It's also being reported up at the top here that the Tesla comes very close to the camera, although there is some motion blur. The investigator told Bainfield on Friday, but you could see the person. They are wearing something pretty distinctive. There's photos that I have from 12 hours earlier of a person at the house wearing the same thing. The private investigator also confirmed he was able to discern who was driving the car last based on the visual evidence in the new video. So there is likely a prime suspect right now. Who that is, not too sure, but all this evidence is going to the police. It might be David, it might be one of David's friends. Who knows, but a suspect is definitely there, that's for sure. An arrest may be happening, and I'm curious to know your thoughts about all this.
Guys, Uber is about to be dropping the wildest update ever, and no, it is not cheaper rides, it's helicopters. In a couple years, you literally might be able to open the Uber app and book a chopper instead of a Toyota. So Uber isn't just stopping at cars anymore, they're teaming up with a company that's called Joby Aviation, and this is a company that just bought out Blade's helicopter and seaplane business for $125 million. And now they're planning on plugging this straight into the Uber app, meaning that you could literally order a helicopter to hit up Taco Bell. Imagine just for a second that you're stuck in traffic, it's raining, instead of waiting an hour to get somewhere, you tap the app and 5 minutes later, you're flying over everybody's heads. They're saying that Blade has already officially moved 50,000 passengers just last year alone, and the tickets from Manhattan to JFK usually run at about $195. So obviously it's not billionaire money, but it's definitely expensive dinner money. Guys, it's not even just helicopters. Uber is saying that seaplanes are on the table too, and then futuristic electric car taxis whenever they're certified. The only catch with this entire plan is that 2026 is the goal, and there's still a ton of caution. FAA approvals, noise regulations, and figuring out how to land helicopters in these cities where people complain about leaf blowers. Would you actually spend $200 to skip traffic and fly over the city, or does this sound like a disaster waiting to happen?
Yo, this could low-key be the move though. Hear me out, hear me. She's like, oh, you're gonna drive me there? No, we finna take my helicopter. Well, yeah, no, my helicopter. She don't gotta know that though. Yeah, I said I'm taking you a helicopter. I didn't say whose it was. But if y'all go and use that, make sure you credit me.
There is this haunted house that has been exposed for, I think, a couple years for not just scaring people, but for doing literal torture. It's this place called McCamey Manor, and it started at this guy named Russ McCamey's house, like in his backyard. It is so much to even get in. You can be in there, they said, for up to 10 hours to 36.
Really? A whole day?
A whole day being in this guy's haunted house, yes.
No way.
Yeah, going through all this crazy stuff. And I'm going to get into what goes down in the haunted houses, but like I just said, you have to have so many things done before you can go. Like they said, you need to be 21 years or older, and you have to sign like a 40-page waiver.
Damn.
All of it. Just to, like, you know, say that, hey, you know, do you consent to this? Do you consent to that?
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
consent to
yeah,
all
yeah,
these other
yeah.
things? And a lot of people were actually going to this thing, crazy enough. One of the craziest things about this was they were putting people through physical, sexual, and psychological torture.
Really?
Inside of this haunted house, yeah. And dude, people have been trying to break this whole haunted house down for years and see the real of what was going on behind this. It was almost like they were really trying to kill some of these people, because they were punching these people in the face like
really?
crazy. They were tasing them, and this blew my mind. They were waterboarding people as well.
What the hell?
And there's footage of it. The footage looks crazy. It looks like something from the movie Jigsaw. In 2024, July that year, this guy Russ McCamey was actually arrested for attempt of second-degree murder and assault on these people that were inside of the haunted house. But he was actually released the exact same year in September.
To be in there for 36
hours. You're there for a whole day.
That's insane, bro.
It takes the cake for sure.
I hope y'all learn how to dial a number and call somebody, because they're about to do away with Snapchat. And y'all know why. We ain't dumb. Hell, y'all know what goes on that shit. I don't even have it. You know, I'll be out in public sending pictures like this and shit. Fucking call me. I want to hear you talk. Don't send me no side face, duck face, kissy half. Call me. If you ain't got my number, it's probably a reason. I hate when people get on there and ask me, they say, you got Snapchat? No, motherfucker, I don't have Snapchat. I don't need you to send a picture of your face to me. Matter of fact, I don't even want to fucking see you. If I need to talk to you, I want to hear you. I want to talk to you. Fuck, I want to see you for. That's what they got, FaceTime. But that ain't no joke. They doing away with it. 2025. Maybe 26, 27, whatever. I know they're fucking working on banning the shit, and y'all know why. Y'all ain't fucking stupid. All that crap going on. Shit. And it ain't the damn duck faces, but them motherfuckers gotta go too.
This is the best evidence that scientists have recently found out about other life on another planet. There is this planet that is pretty freaking far from us. It's called K2-18b. And it's this big, it's like, bro, literally like 2 times the size of Earth, bro. It's huge. And it's pretty much like an exoplanet. It has like its own star that's pretty much like its sun. And it's super interesting. And apparently it's a full like water world.
Like us.
Pretty much. It's like, but dude, there's no land.
Oh, it's just straight water.
It's just straight water, the whole thing, yeah. So you know how we have the James Webb telescope, right? It was able to see from this planet that there's this certain light that comes from certain planets. Through this light, there was this part of it that was missing. And this is where it gets interesting. These are the scientists' words. They said because this part of this light was missing, they are 99.7% sure that there has to be life on another planet, because that light that's missing is the same thing that basically indicates on Earth that there is life. So they found the same gas and things like that
on that water planet.
We don't know right now, but they're not our animals. They're probably evolved. And to tell you the truth, they're probably freaking huge.
They probably look crazy. If the whole planet is just all straight water.
That's what I'm saying. They have the world to themselves.
What if they're like krakens and shit?
Yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't even. We're thinking so human.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
This guy loved exploring abandoned places, but this time he went too far and it cost him his life. For a simple viral video, he jumped into the pool of an old abandoned school. The water had been stagnant for years, filled with filth and invisible microorganisms. What he didn't know was that a deadly amoeba was lurking there, a parasite capable of entering through the nose and destroying the brain in just a few days. After his dive, everything seemed normal. But a few hours later, he started having severe headaches and nausea, and then his condition quickly worsened. The doctors tried everything, but this infection is almost always fatal. He just wanted to go viral, but he found death instead.
I'm gonna show you a video. Definitely a trigger warning to what happens after the video. That's Tammy.
What are you drinking there? Ice. Ice? Ice, baby, to go? No. Okay, let's see what's up. We have the television and we have
Carla
drinking, and
Lori,
which is absolutely not drinking. Yeah, you look at
those are the parents.
You like those? They're good. Buddy, sit.
A couple hours after this video was taken, Paul and Carla would spike Carla's sister Tammy's drink, who was only 15 years old, took her down to the basement, took turns. What the recorded the whole thing, and were laughing about the whole situation. And while they were together, he would still continue this disgusting behavior of these girls torturing them with her knowledge to this whole thing. She basically encouraged him to do it, bro.
She say like, yeah, do it.
Yeah, because she would also participate in these, bro. This was already 3 years into Paul's and Carla's relationship, but Paul, he grew this type of obsession with wanting to virgin, and then that's when his attention and his lust grew towards Carla's sister Tammy. And since Carla, she would do anything to please Paul, she approved of this. She was like, we'll plan everything out. They spiked the drink with sedatives or whatever. But the only thing is, whenever they finished assaulting Tammy, she had choked on her own vomit that ended up killing her. But her death was ruled out as an accident.
Huh?
They ended up cleaning the scene. They changed her clothes, and they, I guess, manipulated the whole situation. They cried. They basically tricked the cops into thinking that it was actually an accident.
Like she was drunk?
And, well, they got away with murder. Now we come to whenever they got caught.
Robbers disguised as construction workers just broke into the Louvre. Guys, never say never. Anything is possible. These motherfuckers actually got away with France's crown fucking jewels. In broad daylight. I didn't think this kind of thing happened anymore. I mean, seriously, imagine the guy who came up with the idea. I can't think of a more daunting task than breaking into the Louvre at 9 a.m. But then again, that's probably why they were able to do it. I mean, everyone's thinking there's no way anyone would actually try to rob this place. The statement that was put out said that what they stole was of immeasurable value.
Which basically means that if they can successfully sell it, their whole lineage will be set for life. Side note, and completely unrelated, the US Treasury could use some construction work, and
I was thinking of volunteering my labor.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, if I was the security guard that was supposed to be working, I
definitely wouldn't show up to work because, like, dude, no one's actually gonna try and rob this place, right? Someone's gotta check Nick Cage's location this last week because I've got a sneaking suspicion. In about 2 years, we will get the most legendary Netflix documentary we have ever seen.
I got the most important question. Do you guys think this is one of those robberies where they walked in with like the black and white striped shirts and then had the masks with the hole in the eyes, and then they're tiptoeing around with the big like sack on their back? Like, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Remember the man who sucker punched a random child? Well, justice can hit even harder. In 2020, 12-year-old Ethan was minding his own business and dancing on the sidewalk with a friend and his dance teacher, something they did very often to showcase the dances they've been working on. Just before midnight, an SUV driving by randomly stops, a man gets out, looks like he's going to join the dance party, and sucker punches a 12-year-old kid before scurrying back into his car and driving off. Luckily, they were live streaming their dancing and captured it all on camera. The video went extremely viral, and it didn't take long for the internet to find the guy. The police issued a warrant for the man's arrest, and he ended up turning himself in 5 days later. 28-year-old Cedric Moore appeared before a judge and was sentenced to 7 years in prison.
The motherfucking Louvre was just robbed, guys, this morning in Paris. Like, the Louvre. This is the most trafficked museum in the world. And in 4 minutes, this heist took place. Okay, guys, at around 9:30 this morning, only 30 minutes after the museum opened, the group of thieves used a construction lift to access an upper window of the Louvre. From there, they cut through the glass on the display cases and stole multiple priceless French crown jewels. After that, the thieves escaped on motorbikes. This happened just 250 meters away from the Mona Lisa, arguably one of the most famous paintings in the world. One piece of stolen jewelry was found near the exam, but the rest of the other priceless artifacts remain missing. And understandably, the Louvre is closed for the rest of the day. Our museum heist back, guys? Our museum heist's back.
Did you know one of Hollywood's most fearless comedians may have been silenced for saying too much? In July 2014, Joan Rivers was caught on camera outside a New York building. Paparazzi asked when America would see its first gay president. Joan smirked, then casually dropped a bomb. We already have one. And Michelle is a transgender woman. The internet exploded. Some laughed, others were stunned. But Joan didn't backtrack, she doubled down. And then, just weeks later, she checked into a Manhattan clinic for a simple throat procedure. She never woke up. The official story? Complications during anesthesia. But the details were chilling. The clinic wasn't licensed. The doctor wasn't certified. And witnesses later claimed her physician stopped mid-surgery to take a selfie with her unconscious body. Her death was ruled accidental, but for conspiracy theorists, the timing was too perfect. Joan jokes about the First Lady's identity, then suddenly dies under bizarre, preventable circumstances. Coincidence? Or did Joan Rivers reveal something she was never supposed to say? Follow for more stories that make you question what's really going on.
She was definitely set up. There's no way a routine surgery goes wrong, especially after she says something very, very, very controversial about somebody very important. I guess she really did hurt Michael's feelings, so this was too weird for this to be just a conspiracy or a coincidence.
Where are they now? The biggest lottery winner of all time. This is Edwin Castro, and in 2023, his $2 winning Powerball ticket won him over $2.2 billion. After paying taxes, Edwin only took home $800 million cash, paying nearly $1.3 billion in tax, but he could care less, wasting no time when it came to spending his cash. Edwin first bought 3 13-bathroom mansions in Hollywood and Los Angeles, totaling up to $67 million in houses alone. He also started expanding his $1 million car collection, such as multiple different vintage Ferraris and Mercedes. He even got a girlfriend who was a model, but there was a massive problem Edwin was facing. Despite being the luckiest man on earth, another man by the name of Jose Rivera filed a lawsuit against Edwin after he cashed the ticket, with Jose claiming that he stole the ticket from him and that he was the rightful owner.
Castro's gonna pay. He's gonna pay for what he's done.
The case went on for over a year until it was dismissed by a judge in court on October 1st, 2024, ruling that Edwin was the rightful owner of the ticket, being able to keep every penny of his fortune. As of today, Edwin keeps out of the public eye and is now one of the largest investors of Los Angeles properties that burned down in the January wildfires.
With milk to feed everyone at once. His lazy breakfast solution accidentally created a billion-dollar industry and changed how the entire world eats breakfast, all because he didn't want to cook individual meals. Products that became successful because customers used them completely wrong. Q-tips were originally developed as baby gaze for applying makeup and skincare products to infants and small children in the 1920s, not for cleaning ears. The cotton swabs were specifically designed for mothers to safely apply powders, oils, and medicinal ointments to delicate baby skin without causing irritation or contamination. The company repeatedly warned customers not to insert the swabs into ear canals because it was dangerous and could cause hearing damage. But people ignored the warnings and transformed a baby care product into the world's most popular ear cleaning tool. Treadmills were invented as punishment devices for prison inmates who were forced to walk on rotating wooden wheels that powered grain mills and water pumps as part of their rehabilitation. The machines were designed to provide hard labor that would reform criminals through exhausting physical work while generating useful energy for prison operations. When fitness enthusiasts discovered these prison torture devices provided excellent cardiovascular exercise, treadmills were redesigned for voluntary use and became the foundation of the modern fitness industry worth billions of dollars annually. Arm & Hammer baking soda was marketed exclusively as a cooking ingredient for baking bread, cakes, and other recipes that required chemical leavening agents to rise properly. The company focused all their advertising on culinary applications and recipe development to help home bakers achieve better results with their products. Customers discovered that baking soda was incredibly effective for cleaning, deodorizing, and removing stains throughout the house, leading to the product's transformation from a specialized cooking ingredient into a versatile household essential with hundreds of non-food applications. 8 Disney movies with dark hidden messages you never knew. The last one will blow your mind. Number 1. The Little Mermaid is actually about a teenage girl giving up her voice and body to chase after a man she's never spoken to. It's literally about silencing women for love. Number 2. Beauty and the Beast is Stockholm Syndrome disguised as romance. Belle literally falls in love with her captor who imprisoned her father and threatened her life. Number 3. Pinocchio is filled with child trafficking themes where kids are literally kidnapped, turned into donkeys, and sold into slave labor on an island. Number 4. Snow White runs away to live with 7 strange men in the woods after her stepmother tries to murder her for being prettier. It's about female competition and jealousy. Number 5. The Lion King is basically Hamlet with animals where Simba's uncle murders his father and marries his mother, but Disney made it cute with singing. Number 6. Sleeping Beauty spends most of her movie unconscious while men fight over her body, and she's literally kissed without consent while she's asleep and can't say no. Number 7. Cinderella teaches kids that your only escape from abuse is finding a rich man to marry. Her worth is determined entirely by fitting into a shoe. Before I say the last one, make sure you hit that follow button to support the channel. Number 8. The Hunchback of Notre Dame deals with religious corruption, genocide, and a priest who wants to burn a woman alive.
The real reason why cartoon characters wear white gloves is way more disturbing than you think. So everybody's familiar with this very specific style of white glove that a ton of classic cartoon characters wear, but not many people really question why they're wearing the gloves. It's just how it always has been. Unless you're the character Bobby from an extremely goofy movie who jokingly asks this exact question.
Do you ever wonder why we're always like, wearing gloves?
Yeah, that's just a funny little gag, but it's a good point. Why do they wear the gloves? Well, a lot of people will tell you it's so the characters' hands can stand out from their darker bodies, which made it easier for animators to make them more expressive and to better convey the things that they were doing with their hands. And while that's technically true, it's only half of the story, and it leaves out a very important and very disturbing detail. Cartoon characters wear white gloves so that their hands stand out against their black bodies because blackface minstrel actors from the 1920s and 30s wore white gloves so that their hands would stand out against the black paint on their faces. Because many early cartoon characters like Mickey Mouse, Felix the Cat, Bimbo the Dog, and Bosco were blackface minstrel characters. That's right, Mickey Mouse was originally intended to be a parody or an homage to vaudeville blackface actors. You see, in the early days of cartoon animation, before TV existed or they were even being regularly played in movie theaters, animators like Winsor McCay, creator of Little Nemo, would take their cartoons on tour with vaudeville shows and literally project them on stage on a screen. They would even sometimes interact with their animations. And the most popular part of these vaudeville touring shows was the blackface minstrel act. And so the animators, trying to grab the audience that was there to see the blackface minstrel shows, would pattern their characters off of those blackface actors. So the cartoon characters would take on the physical traits of these blackface actors, like the dark black skin with the white or red mouth and eyes, and also the personality traits and tropes of blackface minstrelsy, like the mischievous trickster character, which was very common in blackface and was also what most cartoon characters in the 1930s and 40s were. This minstrel style of cartoon character carried over from the vaudeville era of animation to the film era of animation with characters like Mickey Mouse and Felix the Cat. And after a while, blackface minstrel shows obviously fell out of favor and people just kind of forgot that they were like that. So the style of the character became solely associated with cartoons. And that's how we ended up with generations of these cartoon characters with these inexplicable white gloves. And again, many people will tell you, no, it's nothing to do with blackface. It's so that their hands can stand out from their bodies, but that's just not historically accurate. And here's the thing, I love animation like many people, and I love many of these characters. I'm not trying to get anything canceled. I just think it's important to be aware of these things. And real quick, if you like my videos and you want to see more in-depth writing from me, you can do that here.
I actually did not know that, and it's kind of crazy some of the backstories that everything has. Like, I feel like a lot of things have very dark roots to it, but they kind of turn into more lighter situations. You know, that doesn't take away from the history of it at all. At least they turn a negative into a positive, I guess. But
Top 5 people who spent the longest time in a coma and then woke up. Number 5 is Terry Wallace, who spent 19 years in a coma from age 20 to 39. He woke up still thinking it was the 80s, and he was 20 years old. Number 4, Jan Grzebski spent 19 years in a coma. Number 3, Sarah Scantlin spent 20 years in a coma. I just don't understand how you wake up and just go about your business after this shit. Number 2, this one's crazy. Rom Hubin spent 23 years in a coma, and they later found out that he actually had active brain activity during that entire time. So he was able to watch what was going on around him and couldn't do anything about it. He even remembers when his mother came in the room and told him his father had passed away. He remembers getting brain scans and doctors coming in and out of his room. That must have been miserable. If you like this list and want more about other nonsense, follow me. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on these poor people who were in a coma for this long. That's a tragedy. And also follow my wife Samantha, who I've tagged. Check out our podcast, Brutally Honest with Sam and Jacob, and book me on Cameo if you want me to roast the shit out of your relatives on their birthday. Number 1 at 30 years is Annie Shapiro.
Songs that were recorded as jokes but became cultural anthems. Louie Louie by the Kingsmen was recorded in 1963 as a throwaway B-side song with intentionally mumbled lyrics that the band thought was so stupid it would never get radio play. The singer Jack Ely had braces and sang the words so unclearly that listeners thought the song contained hidden obscene messages, which created a massive controversy and FBI investigation. The mystery and scandal made the song incredibly popular, and it became one of the most covered songs in rock history, despite being recorded as a joke in a single session. The band members were amazed that their deliberately sloppy performance became a cultural phenomenon. Happy Birthday to You started as a classroom greeting song written by kindergarten teachers in 1893, who never intended it to become the world's most recognized melody. The Hill Sisters created Good Morning to All as a simple tune for children to sing when they arrived at school, but someone later changed the words to Happy Birthday as a playful variation. The song spread through informal use at parties and celebrations until it became the universal birthday anthem, generating millions in copyright royalties for a song that was originally just a teaching tool. The composers died not knowing they had created the most profitable song in history. Wild Thing by the Troggs was recorded in 1966 as a parody of serious love songs, with the band deliberately using the simplest possible lyrics and most basic chord progression they could imagine. The musicians thought they were making fun of romantic rock ballads by creating something so primitive and ridiculous that no one would take it seriously. Instead, the song's raw simplicity and catchy hook made it a massive hit that influenced the development of punk rock and garage band music. Their joke song accidentally pioneered a new musical style that valued energy and authenticity over technical complexity.
Morbid Facts, Part 715. Shane Dawson, once YouTube's golden boy, has lived a life shaped by trauma. His father was an alcoholic who abandoned his family, while his mother struggled with hoarding and poverty. As a child, Shane was morbidly obese, bullied relentlessly at school, and has admitted to severe depression and suicidal thoughts before YouTube gave him an outlet. After finding fame online through comedy and conspiratorial content, he later became infamous for disturbing jokes that eventually led to his downfall. One of the most infamous scandals came from a resurfaced podcast bit where Shane claimed he had once done things to his cat as a teen. Though he later insisted it was a stupid joke and not real, the image of him as a cat abuser haunted his persona. Years later, an old clip of him pretending to touch himself to an 11-year-old Willow Smith poster resurfaced, prompting outrage from the Smith family and leading YouTube to demonetize his channels. Today, Dawson is seen as more of a ghost of YouTube, overshadowed by the scandals that tainted his career.
Why are people so afraid of Beyonce? So strange.
My artist of my life is Beyonce, and this album to me, we adore you. You are our light.
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
Thank you to Beyonce. Thank you to Beyonce, thank you so much. You clearly are the artist of our lives. I love you.
Thank you, Beyonce. You're amazing. Yeah.
The fact that Beyonce made a country record changed the game. So thank you.
Beyonce. Beyonce and I started out around the same time, and just like all of her fans, I fell in love with her.
Mama, a girl behind you.
What are you?
Why do you think everyone's so afraid of Beyonce? Stay weird.
Yeah, I think we can all agree when I say this. Beyonce is not that good for them to be doing all this. Maybe back in the day, but nowadays nobody is waking up being like, yo, turn that Beyonce on. No, turn that Beyonce off.
10 people who could have changed the world and vanished. Thomas Hogan was an American mechanic who claimed to have created something revolutionary, a combustion system that worked without a carburetor, capable of making a car run over 60 miles with less than half a gallon of gasoline. And the most impressive part? His invention could be installed in practically any vehicle. The news quickly caught the attention of major automotive industries, but the one truly interested was Shell. The company even offered $20 million for the patent, but Hogan refused. He believed that if he accepted the offer, his creation would be shelved and would never reach the public. Shortly after, on August 19, 1981, Thomas was found dead. The official version? Alcohol intoxication and a drug overdose. But there was one strange detail. Doctors who knew him swore that Hogan had no history of alcohol or medication abuse. And the mystery only grew deeper, because along with his death, all the papers and documents about the invention disappeared without a trace. For many, it wasn't an accident, it was silencing. After all, if Hogan's invention had gone forward, it could have completely changed the fuel market. So what do you think? Did Thomas really take his own life? Or was he silenced so the world would never have access to his creation?
Wait, Nicki Minaj has a demon inside of her?
You know how Nicki Minaj says that someone named Roman lives in her? Well, that Roman came out the other night at the VMAs.
MTV is petrified because they got a couple calls yesterday and people were saying, what if Nicki says this and if Nicki says that? And you know, and I said, it's okay, MTV, I can control myself. Because if you can't control yourself, you can't control anything around you, right? But you know who can't control themselves? Roman. Red Ruby the Freeze. Chun-Li. So I'll think about it.
By the way, this video is scripted and for entertainment purposes only. Stay weird.
The scariest toys ever made in the past for kids. Furbies. Launched in the late 90s, Furbies were designed as cute talking pets, but they quickly earned a creepy reputation. Kids discovered they could record voices and sometimes spoke randomly at night. Parents began to believe these toys were haunted, making them feel more cursed than cuddly. My Buddy doll. Marketed in the mid-80s as the perfect best friend, the My Buddy doll had a blank stare and stiff smile that unsettled many children. Its unsettling design inspired the creation of Chucky in the Child's Play films, forever linking it to horror. Instead of comfort, it delivered nightmares. Talking Tina. Released in the early 60s, Talking Tina looked like any ordinary doll until it began whispering chilling phrases such as, "I don't like you." The toy became infamous after being featured in a Twilight Zone episode. Rather than playful fun, Talking Tina brought horror into kids' bedrooms. Hugo, Man of a Thousand Faces. This 70s toy came with wigs, scars, and masks that let kids disguise its face. But its bald head, lifeless stare, and strange accessories gave it an eerie vibe. Instead of being playful, Hugo unsettled nearly everyone who saw it, turning playtime into something that felt more like a nightmare.
I'm kind of glad I wasn't alive for this time because these are some of the most terrifying things I've ever seen in my entire life. So you're telling me you're cuddled up next to the ugliest creature on earth, about to go to sleep for comfort, and then it starts whispering to you that it does not like you? cute, yeah, I'm good off that. I don't know who made it normal for these ugly, evil dolls to be children toys, but I think we need to have a talk with them.
Disturbing fan theories, part 8. There's a long-running fan theory that Kevin McAllister from Home Alone grows up to become Jigsaw from Saw. The connection starts with Kevin's childhood obsession with elaborate traps, rigging blowtorches, swinging paint cans, and setting up nail-piercing steps as the early versions of Jigsaw's sadistic games. Both characters share the same piercing blue eyes and light hair, a calm, calculating demeanor, and a tendency to taunt or psychologically torment their victims. Kevin also grows up in the Midwest, while John Kramer's backstory places him in a similar American setting. Fans point out that Kevin shows no real remorse for the pain he inflicts. He laughs as the wet bandits are electrocuted, burned, and brutalized, and that his creativity seems to flourish under isolation and neglect, a psychological connection to Jigsaw's warped sense of justice. Even the iconic tricycle in Saw has been compared to Kevin's love for riding around on bikes in the Home Alone films. In this theory, the wet bandits weren't just burglars, they were Kevin's first test subjects.
8 Disney movies with hidden dark messages. The last one will blow your mind. Number 1. The Little Mermaid teaches girls to change everything about themselves and give up their voice to get a man's attention. Number 2. Beauty and the Beast romanticizes Stockholm Syndrome, where Belle falls in love with her captor who imprisoned her father. Number 3. Cinderella promotes the idea that women need to be rescued by wealthy men instead of improving their situations themselves. Number 4. Snow White shows a 14-year-old girl living alone with 7 adult men after running away from an attempted murder. Number 5. The Lion King is basically Hamlet with animals. It's about murder, revenge, and a son dealing with his father's death. Number 6. Pinocchio features child trafficking, kids being turned into donkeys, and a whale trying to digest a living person. Number 7. Bambi traumatizes children by showing a mother being shot and killed by hunters, leaving her child completely orphaned. Number 8. Finding Nemo starts with Nemo's mother and 400 siblings being brutally eaten alive by a barracuda, leaving only Nemo with a permanent disability from the attack.
There was this Mexican pilot back in the 70s whose plane was hijacked by aliens. Yo, I heard about this shit. You guys could come up with your own conclusion. Basically, there was this 23-year-old and he was trained to be a pilot, and in 1976 he was set to have another training flight, but this time alone for the first time. He ends up taking off at 9:15 a.m. right? Just keep that time in mind. 9:15 a.m. And everything was normal up until a couple minutes later when communications with him got completely lost. And then at a certain point he started to panic because he tried to like turn right, tried to turn left, but like the wheel wouldn't budge. And then it started to like elevate thousands of feet.
Like if something was dragging him up or
type shit. And then he just passes out, and he ends up waking up not knowing how long he was out for. And then he hears like somebody talking on the radio, and then he's like, I don't know where I'm at, I'm lost, I fell asleep on the plane. And then he looks at the time, it's 11:30 a.m.
Oh, that's already 2
hours. That's already 2 hours, right? The person on the radio tells him that you're just off the coast of Acapulco, and for the last hour you've been flying back and forth over the water. And the weird part about it is that he arrived at Acapulco at 10:30, just an hour after he took off. But where he originally took off, it takes 3 hours to get to Acapulco.
It's like if he had just like teleported or appeared there.
Whenever he showed up at the coast of Acapulco, he was talking to the person on the radio. They said that his voice was more deeper and it sounded like more robotic.
You about to play
I'm gonna play it for you. Yeah. For the next 30 to 45 minutes, the voice being projected through Raphael talked about humanity is the only intelligent species in the entire universe that uses warfare and conducts violence on each other, and you are poised for nuclear holocaust, and you may be exterminated if this continues.
Yo.
And the crazy thing is too, bro, that I don't see nobody else talking about this shit. A year prior, there was another pilot named
8 things cops can't actually do but pretend they can. The last one will blow your mind. Number 1. Force you to unlock your phone or give them your passcode. The Fifth Amendment protects you from self-incrimination, and you can legally refuse. Number 2. Search your car without a warrant, your consent, or probable cause. Saying, "I smell something," isn't enough legal justification for most searches. Number 3. Demand to see your ID unless you're driving, being arrested, or they have reasonable suspicion of a crime. You can ask, "Am I being detained?" Number 4. Enter your home without a warrant, hot pursuit of a suspect, or immediate danger. They need your permission or a judge's approval first. Number 5. Lie about having evidence against you during questioning. They can bluff about fingerprints, witnesses, or video footage to get confessions. Number 6. Force you to answer questions during a traffic stop beyond basic identification. You have the right to remain silent even during routine stops. Number 7. Seize your property permanently without charging you with a crime. Civil asset forfeiture has strict legal requirements they often ignore. Before I say the last one, make sure to hit that follow button to support the channel. Number 8. Arrest you for recording them in public. Filming police officers performing their duties is protected by the First Amendment in all 50 states.
I think the only thing more annoying than this that a cop does is when you're trying to drive somewhere and they're camping in the bushes trying to get that quick little speeding ticket thinking they're slick. It just irritates me because, you know, there's people out here like Diddy and you're over here trying to catch me lacking for a little speeding ticket. Oh, sir, you know you're going 45 in a 40. Oh, yeah. Glad you're keeping the streets safe. Yeah, take me off the streets. Thank you.
8 crazy facts about cats you didn't know. Number 1. Cats can't taste sweet. Genetically, their sweet taste receptor is broken, so dessert does nothing for them. Number 2. A cat's purr sits around 25 to 150 hertz, frequencies linked in studies to tissue and bone healing, which might explain self-soothing purrs. Number 3. The famous righting reflex lets cats twist midair. Oddly, injuries from falls can be worse at a few stories than from higher up after they've reached terminal velocity and spread out. Number 4. Their tongues are lined with hundreds of backward-facing keratin hooks that wick saliva deep into fur. Nature's built-in grooming brush. Number 5. Cats' collarbones aren't attached to other bones, so if their head fits through a gap, the rest of them usually can too. Number 6. Those vertical slit pupils are an ambush predator superpower, sharpening depth cues in low light. Number 7. Cats are obligate carnivores. Without dietary taurine, they can go blind or develop heart problems, which is why quality cat food adds taurine. And number 8. Adult cats rarely meow to each other. That vocal move is mostly for training us, a language tuned to humans. If one of those blew your mind, follow for more animal facts that hit different.
Morbid Facts, Part 732. In January of 2022, beloved comedian Bob Saget was found dead in his Orlando hotel room just hours after performing stand-up. The autopsy revealed massive skull fractures and brain bleeding, injuries more consistent with a serious car crash than a simple fall. Investigators ruled it an accident, likely from hitting his head, dismissing it as minor, and going to sleep unaware of the fatal damage. Even more tragic, just that morning, Bob had posted on Instagram about the show he'd done the night before, writing, "I'm back in comedy like I was when I was 26. I guess I'm finding my new voice and loving every moment of it." With no drugs or alcohol in his system and no signs of foul play, his sudden death at 65 left fans across the world completely stunned. In February of 2023, 2 notorious orcas named Port and Starboard went on a killing spree off the coast of South Africa, slaughtering at least 17 seven-gill sharks in a single day. When the shark carcasses washed ashore, researchers were stunned to find that each had been sliced open with eerie precision. Every single liver was gone, while the rest of the body was left behind. Orcas are known to favor shark livers for their high fat content, but the surgical accuracy of these attacks has cemented their reputation as the ocean's most ruthless predators.
Like I said, I'm not a detective, but this does not make no sense. I mean, I get he was a little bit older, but this just seems a little bit weird. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments.
We had a sighting 2 nights ago in Phoenix, Arizona, right near Mesa on the Beeline Highway headed towards Fountain Hills. Now, apparently this witness was driving down Beeline Highway headed east towards Fountain Hills when they said they spotted a very large object in the road. They slowed down and came to a stop, and they said they noticed what looked kind of like a wolf, a dog, in the middle of the road. They said this thing was kind of crawling very strange along the highway. It then stood up on 2 legs, looked at them, and let off this loud snarl, and then took off running into the desert. Now, there have been in the past couple years, a few other strange UFO sightings, as well as a potential skinwalker sighting in this area. So to me, I'm wondering, did they potentially see a skinwalker? So I'm just curious, what do you think? If you live in the Phoenix area, have you seen anything like this?
The cereal box theory? What's that? So, you know how every cereal box has a mascot?
Yeah.
So, the Trix one, the Cocoa Puffs,
Yeah.
Fruit Loops, right? If you look really close, the mascots aren't looking straight. They're all looking down, right?
Why?
So, this is why. So, it's known to make the characters make direct eye contact with the kids. Since
because they're
shorter, so they're supposed to make eye contact to kind of engage them to go for that cereal.
Yeah.
And if you notice, the Honey Nut Cheerio, the one with the B.
Yeah.
So the extra sugar one has the mascot on it. The one with just the cereal bowl and the strawberries.
Yeah.
No mascot.
I think that's why they have candy right at the front of the cashier. And low. So if you go to a convenience store, where do they have the candy? Super low, right in front of the cashier.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little kid, and I'm looking what's right in front of me while I'm waiting. Candy. And what am I gonna do? Mom, can I get this?
This is the real Coca-Cola. It didn't start in a pharmacy. It started in the back of a morgue. In 1886, John Pemberton mixed his first batch on Marietta Street in Atlanta. Neighbors whispered he paid undertakers for leftovers, ash, bone, what never reached a cemetery. He called it the extract. Stirred into syrup, it gave the drink its bite, its color, its craving. By autumn, newborns were vanishing from Atlanta's maternity wards. Hospitals wrote stillborn. Midwives spoke of wagons leaving the city at night, headed for the factory. Police raided the room in 1887. They found only barrels, dark, empty lids, stamped with a red cross. The files were sealed, the case dismissed. But locals swore the drink left a smell of smoke and iron, teeth darker than coffee, infants restless when mothers nursed. Investors bought the recipe, locked it in a bank vault, and called it a trade secret. Every executive signed an oath that the formula could never change. Coca-Cola became America's drink. By the 1950s, it was in every school cafeteria, every vending machine. Children lined up with quarters, never asking why the taste never changed. The bottles weren't refreshment, they were inheritance. Every sip still carries the morgue on Marietta Street.
I think it's better we keep that recipe in the vault, because I do not want to know what people were drinking back then. I mean, y'all were drinking it, not me. I mean, I don't know if anyone watching this video is old enough to be, around at that time, but my apologies that you had to drink ghost juice. I think they need to keep that recipe a secret and just, keep it far away, because I'm good off that.
Hello? What the?
There's no way that's real, bro. A couple years ago, a scary video went viral, and it was from this YouTuber named Exploring with Danny, which is basically an urban explorer who goes around exploring abandoned buildings. And in this one specific video, he was exploring an abandoned church, and out of nowhere, he starts hearing a cry. And then
Shut the fuck up, bro.
And then he sees something.
Does bro see La Llorona?
I don't know if you can get in there or not, but I'm here tonight to check it out.
Yo, that shit looks crazy.
Yeah. It sure does look creepy. It's been abandoned for quite a long time. Right guys, I have just made my way into this creepy looking church. But there's quite a lot of pigeons in here. Guys, I am so nervous.
Or it could be a pigeon that made that noise.
Yeah, he said that a lot of the noises are coming from the pigeons.
Okay.
How many of you guys would come into a place like this on your own?
Fuck no.
This is when it starts getting crazy, watch.
Oh wow, check that over there. We've even got a christening pot. Just think people would have been christened here once.
Why is bro not reacting?
What the hell?
Does not sound like no pigeon.
Hello? Hello?
What the? Nah.
Oh my god! What the fuck is that? Get me the fuck out of here!
There's no way that's real, bro. A lot of people were saying the video could be fake. It could just be like somebody else dressed up as
La Llorona,
whatever that was, like Llorona, whatever. Other people are saying that the scream was just too real for him to like actually have faked it.
Yo, he lost all his aura with that scream, but that's a very reasonable reaction. If I seen that thing too, I would definitely be running like that.
The secrets behind everyday objects. Ever wonder why airplane windows have that little hole? It's actually a safety feature. It regulates pressure so the window doesn't shatter when the plane is flying thousands of feet in the air. What about the little arrow next to your fuel gauge symbol? Have you ever noticed it? Well, the little arrow isn't random. It's actually there to tell you exactly which side your fuel cap is on. Ever wonder why jeans have those little metal button studs? They're not decoration. They were invented in the 1800s for miners to reinforce weak points, so their jeans wouldn't rip under stress down the mines. Ever notice the big hole in your pasta spoon? That hole isn't just for draining water. It actually measures one perfect serving of dry spaghetti. What about the hole in a pen cap? It's not just there to stop ink drying. It's actually there to reduce the risk of choking if someone accidentally swallows it. Ever see that slot at the end of a tape measure? It's not damage. It's designed to hook onto nails and screws so you can measure hands-free.
There's this guy, and he spent 100 days underwater, and it reversed his age. It reversed his age. So check this out. He wanted to do a scientific study. His own research, like all that pressure being underwater would make your body do.
Okay.
So he spent exactly 100 days in a submarine. I forgot how deep it was, but he spent eating, living, sleeping there. Now, when he got out, this is the crazy part, because he went to a facility to go and run some tests on him.
Okay.
Now, his stem cells, his blood work, everything that they've done about his test, it says that he aged 10 years younger.
What?
Yeah.
Like all his wrinkles were gone or some shit? Or like
No, like his body.
so he felt healthier.
He was feeling healthier, his blood pressure was down. And yeah, he said like he can sleep better, and he dead ass feels like 10 years younger once he got back to the surface.
What?
But it's interesting because that's a thing that happens if somebody's in space too long too.
Have you seen this?
The truth about Halloween. Halloween is the highest day on the satanic calendar. It is the most probably important day on the satanic calendar. It's considered a high day. It is also the night of the year where there is the most human sacrifice on the whole planet. So many people think Halloween is about candy and it's about dress up, but they don't question the meaning behind it. So let's say, for instance, in a neighborhood or an area, there's homes that celebrate Halloween, where they put up the decorations and they do the pumpkins and they do the candles and the candy, those things, right? And it's fun. Let's say in a neighborhood, there is houses that do that. So that whole perimeter becomes one big satanic ritual for that whole neighborhood.
Conspiracy claims that in the 1800s, an ancestor of the Kardashians sold her soul to 4 witches. What she would get for this was that every woman in the bloodline would have a successful career with money, fame, and beauty. But in return, there's a catch. The catch is that any man involved in their life would be cursed. So the reason this conspiracy has gone so viral is because look at the pattern in the men that has been involved with the Kardashians. Example 1, Lamar Odom, extremely successful basketball player, struggled with addiction and overdoses. Rob Kardashian went from being a model and an actor to dealing with depression and barely being able to leave his house. Scott Disick, a successful businessman, now battling with alcoholism and depression. Travis Scott, hugely successful rapper, faced one of the most disastrous concerts in history with Astroworld, and many people passed away. Okay? Bruce Jenner transitioned to Caitlyn but was ostracized by her entire community. Then we have Kanye West. Unfortunately, we all know what happened with Kanye West. This family is definitely involved in a lot of weird stuff, but they're at the point where they're too big to get exposed. They will take anybody out that's trying to take them down because their empire is just too big. And that's what kind of makes it obvious who's bad and who's not, because there's a lot of stuff that comes out about this family quickly just gets brushed to the side and everyone forgets about it. And I wonder why. You know, they have a lot of money to just get rid of this stuff. So
in 1968, 20-year-old college student Barbara Jane Mackle was bedridden with the flu in a Georgia motel, unaware that 2 strangers had been stalking her and planned one of the most sadistic kidnappings in U.S. history. At 4 a.m., there was a knock at the door. A man dressed as a police officer stood outside with a badge, claiming Barbara's boyfriend had been in a serious car accident and was asking for her. But it was a calculated lie. The kidnappers had researched her personal life, knew her boyfriend's name, and used emotional manipulation to get her mother to open the door. The second they stepped inside, the disguise dropped. The man pulled a gun. His female accomplice used chloroform on her mother, and Barbara was tackled to the ground. As they tied her up and dragged her away, they said that if she screamed or fought back, they would kill her boyfriend. Sick, terrified, and believing her silence was the only way to protect him, Barbara didn't resist as they shoved her into a car and drove deep into the woods. There, the kidnappers revealed something even more twisted. They had built a custom coffin for Barbara, just 6 feet long, 2 feet wide, and 3 feet high, equipped with a dim light, a fan, and water laced with sedatives to keep her weak and compliant. Before sealing the lid, they snapped a Polaroid of her trapped inside, holding a sign that said kidnapped, then buried her alive under the dirt. Alone with the flu in total darkness, Barbara could barely move as the fan buzzed weakly. Insects crawled across her skin, and she prayed that the air wouldn't run out. The kidnappers then contacted her father, Robert F. Mackle, a millionaire real estate tycoon, and demanded $500,000 in cash, one of the largest ransom demands in U.S. history. Despite FBI warnings, her father personally paid the ransom, driving the money himself while federal agents hid in his trunk. But after they took the cash, the kidnappers ran off without revealing where she was buried, leaving the FBI racing to locate a hidden grave in miles of forest while Barbara was slowly suffocating underground. For 83 agonizing hours, she lay buried alive, hallucinating from fear and sedatives. At one point, rainwater began leaking into the coffin and she was prepared to drown. When the FBI finally captured the kidnapper and forced him to talk, agents dug frantically through the dirt until they heard faint knocking from below. They ripped the lid open, and a trembling, dirt-covered Barbara whispered, "You're the most beautiful sight I've ever seen." Her kidnapper, Gary Christ, was sentenced to life but paroled after just 10 years, became a doctor, and was later arrested again for smuggling drugs.
Rooms in your house that were designed for purposes you'd never guess. The breakfast nook in Victorian homes wasn't created for cozy family meals. If you look closely at old house designs, these nooks were strategically positioned to overlook the kitchen. Wealthy homeowners would sit there pretending to enjoy breakfast while actually monitoring their servants for any signs of theft or laziness. The elevated seating gave them a clear view of every movement. What seems like a charming dining spot was designed as a surveillance station. Walk-in closets weren't designed for organizing wardrobes. In the early 1900s, these rooms served a much darker purpose. They were tuberculosis isolation chambers. When someone in a wealthy household contracted the disease, families would seal them inside these small rooms to protect everyone else. The closets had ventilation but were kept separate from living spaces. Today we fill them with shoes and clothes, never knowing they were once quarantine cells. Powder rooms got their name from a practice that sounds bizarre today. In the 1700s, wealthy guests wore elaborate powdered wigs that needed constant maintenance. These small chambers were built so people could reapply white powder to their wigs without covering the main house in dust. Servants would help shake powder onto wigs while guests stood in these tiny rooms. The guest bathroom you use today was designed for wig maintenance.
So I came up with this life hack, fam. You know those troubles you have with your girl whenever you want to go eat somewhere and
you're like, can't find it.
Where are we gonna eat? Where are we gonna eat, right? Yeah. I don't know. What do you want to eat? It's always that same shit, fam. So check this out. I came up with the best solution.
Okay, what's the solution?
You ask her.
McDonald's.
You know, you don't even ask her if she's hungry. You don't even ask her like where you want to eat. This is what you ask her.
What?
Where do you want to travel?
What? That doesn't solve the problem.
Listen.
Okay.
Where do you want to travel? Where do you ever want to visit? She go, oh, maybe Japan, maybe
and then
maybe Iran, maybe Paris, maybe you're right. The first country she says, maybe Korea. I bet Korean barbecue. That's it. And then she can't say nothing because she said she wants to travel to Korea. Fam, if you want to travel to Korea, we're eating Korean food.
What if she says some answer like Niagara Falls? what are you gonna eat at?
No, country, bro. Country. And check this out.
Okay.
This life hack is perfect for everybody in Toronto.
True.
Why?
There's everything.
We have every single cuisine.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like super authentic.
Yeah.
So if you hit me with a country, you're capping about traveling to that country if you don't want to eat there. What if I told you the reason you feel temptations for certain things and certain sins is very specific to what you're supposed to do? So if you have the urge to smoke or damage your lungs, it's because your voice was made to worship. Your voice was made to worship. The enemy's trying to silence you that was meant to praise. Now check this out, ready? If you have constant distraction and procrastination, it's because you carry strategy, vision, and ideas from heaven. The enemy delays you because he can't stop you. Only you can. If you have crippling self-doubt or insecurity, it's because you're meant to lead and inspire. If you weren't dangerous to darkness, it wouldn't try to mute your confidence. So if you have self-doubt and if you had insecurities, that's because you're meant for big things to lead and inspire. Now, this one's gonna hit a lot of people. If you have an addiction to lust or pornography, it's because you carry a deep capacity for intimacy, covenant, and healing. Perverting love is how Satan prevents true restoration.
That's true.
Crazy.
Yeah, if you're always lustful, it actually clogs your mind. Ruins a lot, too.
If you have fear of rejection or abandonment, it's because you carry a spirit of belonging and reconciliation. You were made to gather the outcasts, so he tries to make you feel like one. Damn. But it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Because sometimes, what if the things that were holding us back is because for the very reason and our purpose to actually overcome, right? Like we're chosen battles to fight and become the person that will conquer over. Now check this. You have an obsession with appearance or body image. It's because you're meant to reflect God's glory, not the world's standards. So he's gonna try to get you to hate your image. If you're drawn to witchcraft, astrology, or manifestation, it's because you have a prophetic gift meant for God's kingdom. The enemy counterfeits your gift to keep you out of alignment.
Okay. So it's like you're gonna believe in other stuff that's actually not.
You're gifted with faith, but I'm gonna trick you to choose the.
You should believe in those crystals.
Okay, if you struggle with overspending your greed, it's because you're meant to be a kingdom financer. So he wants to keep you broke so he can never bless others.
No, that's deep, fam. Yo, this is definitely a high episode.
This girl, Patricia Stalling, was wrongfully convicted of murdering her own son because of her DNA.
What?
I know it sounds weird, but just listen to this. In 1989, this woman, Patricia, took her son Ryan to the hospital because he was feeling a little sick. He was throwing up and everything. While he was at the hospital, doctors noticed something in this kid's blood that was almost like he's gotten poisoned by something. His mom comes to visit him one day, literally like a couple of days after his mom visited him, the little boy dies. The doctors go and check, and it's almost he's been poisoned by antifreeze.
What?
That's what the doctors come to the conclusion of. That he has some type of chemical in him that is the same chemical that's found in antifreeze. They arrest his mom, send her to jail.
Whoa,
because they claim that she poisoned her baby with antifreeze. So she's in jail for like a couple years. In 1991, while she's in jail, she gets pregnant again. She then gives birth to her next son. His name was David. Right after she gives birth to him, they take her baby away, like right away, and they put the baby in foster care. So mind you, this baby has had no contact with his mother at all. He gets sick after a couple months after he's born. The same sickness that his brother had.
While she's locked up.
While she's locked up. So there's no way that she could poison him with antifreeze.
Yeah.
A biologist who works at some university heard about the story. So he ends up getting blood from Ryan, the kid who died at first, and compares it to the blood of David, the new kid who's sick as well.
Yeah.
He finds that there is this weird chemical that's inside both of their blood. That same chemical is inside the mother, Patricia.
Whoa.
It's just something that her body naturally produces. After all this comes out, they release her from jail after being in there for like 2-3 years.
Whoa, bro, that is so crazy. Shout out to that biologist, though.
Nah, for real.
Shout out to bro for even caring about the case and thinking like,
bro.
you know, maybe I should try to see what's good with this because that's interesting.
This is really interesting because why did this sort of chemical not affect her, but it affected her babies? You would think that if it made them really sick, that she would get really sick too. And I've never heard about something like this, so I could imagine there's probably a lot more cases like this, and these people are probably in jail as we speak and got no resolution. But this is just sad all around. You know, she lost time of her life and she lost her kids.
Traditions everyone follows, but doesn't know why. Number 1, wearing black at funerals. Back in ancient Rome, people believed the spirits of the dead wander among the living during funerals, searching for someone to cling to. By wearing black, mourners hoped to blend in, almost like camouflage, so spirits couldn't recognize or follow them home. Over time, the spiritual disguise turned into a universal symbol of grief that we still follow today. Number 2, saying bless you after a sneeze. We do it automatically, but the tradition has dark roots. During the bubonic plague in Europe, sneezing was one of the first warning signs of infection. People believed death could be just around the corner after that sneeze. Saying God bless you wasn't just polite, It was meant as a desperate prayer to protect someone's soul before the illness could claim them. Centuries later, the habit stuck as a reflex of kindness. Number 3, tossing coins in fountains. It feels like a cute wish-making ritual, but it began thousands of years ago, when people saw water as sacred and life-giving. Ancient cultures believed that water spirits and gods controlled rivers, springs, and fountains. Dropping coins was an offering to keep the waters pure and flowing, while granting protection and blessings. Over time, the ritual shifted into making wishes, but the act of tossing that coin is still a faint echo of an ancient spiritual transaction.
Well, this isn't good. Protein powders and shakes contain high levels of lead. Consumer Reports tested 23 products and found that more than 2/3 of them contain more lead in a single serving than experts say is safe to have in one day. Just look. So just for reference, all these products were purchased from Target, H-E-B, and Amazon. And what they found is unbelievable. So just to start, they said the plant-based ones are the absolute worst. So here are the products they said to avoid. Naked Nutrition Vegan Mass Gainer had 1,572% of your daily value of lead. Huel Black Edition has 1,288% of your daily value. Garden of Life Sport Organic Plant-Based Protein, 564% of your daily value. Momentous, 476% of your daily value. Now, these products they say are okay once weekly. I don't know too many people who take protein once a week, but Muscle Meds Carnivore Mass came out at 247% of your daily value. Optima Nutrition Serious Mass Squared, 202%. Jocko Fuel, 199% of your daily lead value. Vega Premium Sport Plant-Based Protein, 185%. Quest Protein Shake, 161%. Orgain Organic Plant-Based Protein Powder, 143%. Optima Nutrition Gold Standard Protein Shake, 150%. Equip Foods Prime Protein, 144%. Plant Fusion Complete Protein, 140%. Even Ensure, 132%. Muscle Milk, we're getting better here, 128%. KOS, 112%. Now these are the best choices for daily consumption. Owen Pro Elite High Protein Shakes. Transparent Labs, The Irony. Optima Nutrition. BSN Synthesix Protein Powder. Momentous Whey Protein Isolate. Dymatize Super Mass Gainer. And last but not least, the healthiest protein Muscle Tech 100% Mass Gainer. People, this is bad. In a world that's really promoting health and exercise right now, you're literally guzzling lead. How are we just catching this?
Wow, that sounds absolutely delicious. I love when I just, wake up, drink my little shake, and it just has a week's worth of lead. I was hoping my shake had some extra lead in it this morning, so no, it's actually really gross. I don't know why they can't just make stuff normal.
You know how there's always emoji Mandela effects?
Okay.
Certain emojis never existed, but everybody remembers them. One of them being the robber, one of them being the green peas.
Yeah.
One of them being a moose. Remember a moose emoji?
I don't remember a moose emoji. There's a moose emoji?
Apparently, that's what people remember. People remember a swordfish. You remember a swordfish?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, a hiking man. Someone like climbing a mountain or some shit.
Yeah.
Now this one's crazy. This Mandela effect, fam, I'm still...
Why?
Do you remember a milkshake emoji? This one.
No.
What the f***? You don't remember this?
I remember a blue one.
What are you talking
about?
about?
You know the blue milkshake one? And it has ice cream on it?
What the f*** are you talking about?
You don't know that one?
Yo,
milkshake one.
Y'all remember a milkshake emoji, right? This one. You don't remember this milkshake emoji?
I low-key do. I think I do.
That is an NPC,
no,
bro.
No,
You're actually NPC.
Tell me that. You can't tell me that. A milkshake emoji.
Dog, what universe? Wait, where are you from, bro? You don't remember a milkshake? Literally every single person I asked, every single person I told this, they all remember a milkshake emoji. This guy's part of the next dimension.
I don't think I remember a milkshake emoji, fam.
People who could have changed the world and disappeared. Thomas Ogle. Thomas Ogle invented a car engine that could run on vapor instead of fuel, reportedly driving over 100 miles on a single gallon. But after refusing to sell his idea, he was mysteriously poisoned at just 24. His blueprints vanished forever. Do you think he was silenced? Nikola Tesla dreamed of free wireless energy for everyone. But when investors learned his invention would make electricity free, funding stopped. After his death, U.S. agents seized all his research papers. Some say his work could have changed the world. Was it hidden on purpose? Stanley Meyer claimed to have built a water-fueled car that ran entirely on hydrogen from water. He even demonstrated it publicly before suddenly collapsing during dinner, reportedly poisoned. His invention disappeared soon after. Coincidence or conspiracy? Raymond Rife. Rife built a microscope said to detect and destroy disease-causing microbes with specific frequencies. Many believed he had found a cure for cancer until his lab was mysteriously raided, his research destroyed, and his name erased from science. What really happened to Rife's work?
He took pictures as the ash burst from the volcano, racing toward him at over 100 miles per hour. But he didn't run. You see, he knew there was no time to escape. So he kept documenting the eruption as the sky went black. When the cloud got too close, he wound the film back into its case. He packed the camera, placed it in his backpack, and lay on top of it to protect it. And 17 days later, rescuers found his body under the ash. Later, his photos were published around the world, the only ones taken so close to the eruption.
You gotta give credit to him. This is one of the realest artists. He took pictures for us and protected them with his life. I mean, he didn't really have a choice.
Certain things have been happening in New York with the subway surfing.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so it's becoming an online trend of people trying to subway surf. And they're like, they're posting their stunts and stuff like that. And like, it's been causing an outrage for the police.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was asking like, because sometimes you can see the people running on the train, like on top of the train.
Yo, that happened to a homie that was remember Zandy? He was in my film.
Yeah.
His homie, we were gonna get to do stunts. He was actually one of those like subway surfers. Yeah.
Oh my God.
In Toronto, bro. He has a video of him like going straight for a wall or like a tunnel, and he's like, if I don't jump now, I'm gonna die.
Yo.
Yeah, and then he jumps off and saves his life, because if he kept going, he would have got clipped. Like he would have, dead ass would have just
on the
died.
wall.
Crazy, fam.
That's scary.
People do that. Like it's actually.
I did not know that was a thing.
There's a whole culture of people doing the climbs, like going to skyscrapers, construction. Yo, I follow this one girl, and she like climbs the craziest buildings that aren't even fully constructed in Toronto. Drake follows her, bro.
Oh, that's so dope.
Yeah, but I just throw that in.
He's like, yo, she's cool.
Yeah, but she climbs the craziest shit. Fam, there's a whole culture of people kind of chasing that. That's thrill.
Yeah.
I think some things need to just stay games. I don't understand what people get out of riding on top of a subway car. I mean, I guess the thrill of the moment could be cool, but falling off a train or getting your head hit by a cement tunnel does not sound like it would be on your bucket list. Nothing we can really do about it. But yeah, just don't ride on top of trains. I don't think that's a good idea.
A British spy bit into a poison pill hidden inside his collar in an attempt to avoid torture in 1941. You see, the collars of the spy's shirts were sometimes hollowed and filled with cyanide, and because it was made of a thin, breakable wax coating, the spy could bite into it, releasing a deadly poison that would kill him instantly. This way, the spies could avoid torture, and the government made sure their secrets stayed safe. In 1848, a large iron rod drove through a man's head while he was working on a railroad. It passed behind his left eye and exited through the top of his skull. This should have been a fatal injury, but somehow he didn't die. However, when doctors removed the rod, the man tried to hit them, started kicking, and became unpredictable. That's because the rod had gone through the part of the brain responsible for self-control, and because it was damaged, his entire personality changed, revealing a darker, more aggressive version of himself. A soldier accidentally swallowed a nail while having lunch, and after finishing his meal, he returned to camp without even realizing what had happened. But the next morning, he woke up with terrible stomach pain, and the x-ray revealed a 3-inch nail in his intestines, and it turned out he had swallowed it while chewing on a dry army ration that contained a fragment from an ammunition box.
This is disturbing. The fact that they have pre-planned poison so that you could take your life in case you get held hostage, that is literally insane. But that just tells you enough about the people in power, so.
Top 3 experiments that could have ended the world. Number 3 is the Kola Super Deep Borehole. Now, this was an experiment that scientists did where they just wanted to dig a big fucking deep hole. I'm like, what are they, in kindergarten? Like, we used to do that. We're digging a hole to China. And, like, it's just kindergartners with funding. That's all scientists are. They had to stop, though, because it got so hot that the equipment melted when they got deep into the earth. Number 2, the Large Hadron Collider. Now, this, I remember, was a huge deal. I think it was in France, and it was like this particle mover that was going to send particles around, and people were terrified that this was going to create a black hole and suck the earth in with it, which is like great. If you like this list and want more about other nonsense, follow me. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on these experiments that could have ended the world. Also follow my wife Samantha, who I've tagged, and check out our podcast, Brutally Honest with Sam and Jacob. Book me on Cameo if you want a personal message. Number one, the jury's still out if this one really is ever going to do it to us, and I wouldn't be surprised if humanity ends this way. I'm talking about the atomic tests from Oppenheimer, known as the Trinity tests.
There's a town in America with a population of just one person. No neighbors, no traffic, no noise, just a single woman keeping an entire town alive. Imagine living in a place where you're the mayor, the librarian, and even the bartender, all at the same time. This isn't an abandoned ghost town. It's a legally recognized community. The woman who lives here, Elsie Eiler, runs the only business in town, a small tavern. She serves drinks to visitors who drive in just to meet the entire population. And because she's the only resident, she also votes for herself as mayor. Every year, she fills out the paperwork, pays taxes to the state, and even maintains the town's library in honor of her late husband. Back in the 1930s, this town was home to around 150 people. But over the decades, everyone moved away for jobs, leaving just Elsie behind. Instead of leaving too, she chose to keep the town alive. If you ever drive through northern Nebraska, you'll see a sign that says Population 1. And behind it, a woman who runs an entire American town called Monowai. If you liked it, follow.
He jumped into the freezing water as the Titanic sank beneath him, and he watched his father get crushed by a falling funnel. When rescuers pulled him on board, his legs were frozen. Doctors told him both would need to be amputated, but he refused, saying he needed them to play tennis. Then he forced himself to walk until blood returned to his limbs. A few months later, he was back on the court, and 12 years after that, he won an Olympic medal.
This dude watched his dad get crushed by the Titanic. He himself survived the Titanic, and then he goes to the Olympics and wins? They even told him that he would never walk again, and he said, nah, I don't care, I'm going for a walk. This dude really defied all the odds.
There are like illegal names in the world that you can't name your children. No, there's not. Who the and you can't name your child 1, 2, 3. Like you can't name the numbers.
You can't name your child like number 1, number 2, number 3.
No, and I have a list. Look. These are the names that you cannot like. So you can't name your child Messiah, Jesus Christ.
Yo.
The at. You know the at?
The at symbol?
Yeah. 3, 1069.
Why 1069? Why?
Yo, take in. These are all names that people try to name their kids to. Majesty, 007, Thor, James Bond.
There's definitely Thors out there.
No.
There's gotta be Thors out there.
They're probably in jail right now.
Oh shit.
And Batman. Batman. And you know a parent tried naming their kid Burger King, and that also didn't get put through. It got canceled.
Burger King,
bro. Burger King.
I'm gonna name my kid Spider-Man, bro.
Did you know that there is an island in the United States that still lives in the past? A place where people speak a version of English that sounds just like the 1600s.
The 3 dirtiest restaurant chains in the USA. Never eat in no matter what. Number 3, Golden Corral. With over 100 health code violations reported in just 10 months across multiple states, Golden Corral has become infamous for buffet trays crawling with roaches and food left out for hours. One viral video even showed raw meat stored right next to desserts. In Florida, a single location failed inspection 5 times in 1 year. It's not just dirty, it's shockingly unsanitary. Number 2, Waffle House. Known for being open 24/7, Waffle House racked up more than 1,200 violations across its southern locations in a recent audit. Mold in ice machines, rodent droppings under the grill, and employees caught cooking without gloves are just the beginning. Some branches in Georgia even scored as low as 43 out of 100. The chaos in the kitchen is only matched by the chaos in the dining room. Number 1, Popeyes. In 2023, a Baltimore Popeyes went viral after maggots were filmed inside the kitchen's food bins. And that wasn't an isolated case. Popeyes faced over 900 complaints nationwide about spoiled chicken, moldy buns, and black grease oozing from fryers. One New York inspector called it a biohazard pretending to be a restaurant. Yet people still line up for the chicken.
Yeah, nah. I don't think we're gonna be eating here anymore. And if you're eating there right now, I apologize in advance for your emotional damage after seeing this video.
I'm sorry, but they just found a what under the ocean? Nah, this is insane. Recently, there has been a lot of crazy discoveries, whether it's in the ocean, under the ice, or in space. And I mean, the world we're living in is just pretty nuts, to say the least. Finding things this big could literally change everything. So new scientific research which has been done in the Clarion-Clipperton zone of the Pacific Ocean has basically shown evidence of something called dark oxygen. It's basically just oxygen which is produced without sunlight. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. This shouldn't really be possible, and what else they found down there is gonna flip and blow your mind. We also thought that the only thing that could produce oxygen was living organisms, which now it doesn't look like from down there. On the bottom of the seabed, they found these basically giant metal balls. And I know this sounds fake, but it is 100% true. And these metal balls having a currency of that of a AA battery. And as I'm sure all of you know, an electrical currency like this can split hydrogen and oxygen. So I mean, this literally is huge news and could answer so many questions. I mean, think about it. If people in the ancient times discovered this sort of thing, it means they would be able to produce things that we never thought they would have been able to. And how the hell is there oxygen being produced down here with no sunlight and no life form? Now, let me bring you back to a discovery last year in Antarctica under the ice. They found this giant, metal structure. Remember, it was like a golden metal ball. Could that be linked to this? And also, the planet, Kepler 18b, which I mentioned a long time ago, where they actually found potential oxygen and signs of life on this planet. Maybe there's not signs of life there, but there could actually be oxygen on that planet if this same thing is happening there. Who knows? But I mean, this poses a lot of questions, not just on our planet, but in the whole galaxy and universe. So yeah, I'm sure a lot more is going to come out about this. Hit that follow button. I'll keep you updated.
When was the last time you saw 50 Cent? Why do I ask? Because there's a viral photo of him going around that has left his fans in total shock. Why? Because he shaved off his signature beard. But that's not the only thing. Fans are now saying he is unrecognizable and has aged significantly. As a matter of fact, take a look at this. Who is that? Fans would like to know. As you can see, the beard is gone, and he does look significantly older. This is a photo of 50 Cent just a month ago, August of 2025. How do you age that quickly? I mean, if you Google how old Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent is, he is 50 years old, but fans are still claiming that that's not him. Other photos of 50 Cent show him significantly aging. But the question his fans continue to ask is, how do you go from this in August of 2025 to this just a couple of days ago, September 2025? So I guess my question to you is, has Hollywood claimed another celebrity, aka rapper? Or is there something else going on with 50 Cent? Should we be concerned? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
The whales tried to warn us before that earthquake hit. They came to shore. 5 beluga whales washed up on shore hours before the earthquake hit, y'all. If you didn't notice yet, the animals always try to tell us when something bad is about to come. And it's us to pick it up and understand and listen. But do we do that? No. Just like the situation in Yellowstone. It's always the animals that know before us. Now, the only thing I'm trying to figure out is, they knew the earthquake was coming. They watched the show right where the epicenter started. Only thing I'm trying to figure out now is, what caused this damn earthquake? 8.8? What if something in the ocean was getting loose like a creature or some shit? What if that's what they was running from? A big ass creature that caused this seismic activity. I'm not saying that's what it is, I'm just thinking, y'all. What do y'all think down below in the comments? This earthquake was so massive, they had to do evacuations for tsunami warnings. In Japan, the whole goddamn West Coast, Hawaii. Like, what? The fuck is going on, y'all? Y'all see that shit? It's crazy. This shit is wild, y'all.
There are rumors that dinosaurs are still alive and that the government are keeping them enclosed on islands like this one. And people say this goes all the way back to the 90s when they first were able to clone sheep. We didn't hear about it for a long time, and that the government took that technology and were actually able to recreate dinosaurs similar to how they did on Jurassic Park. Now, fishermen that actually travel these waters are posting about these areas that they're not supposed to go in. They even go as far as to mention that some of their compasses and navigation equipment go haywire when they get near these areas. Now, keep in mind, there's no facts to back this, and it's just a rumor based upon people posting videos like this. Now, is it possible that instead of dinosaurs being on this island, or islands like this one, that this could be the home to failed government experiments? Just like the MK Ultra experiment that inspired Stranger Things. Apparently they created real creatures and got rid of them, but could there be more experiments that have gone wrong and they house these creatures on this island?
You know, like the street performers? A guy in Italy, in Florence, he dresses up as that guy so they can take pictures with him. It's actually bad, because he's like, he's just trapping and cursing people through like his street performance.
What?
Yeah. So two guys who are really like into Christianity and stuff like that, they're walking through Florence after their dinner. They walk around and they see the guy, right? And they notice something. When he's after the pose, he always finds a way to grab their hand and put his hand on top of their head, the person taking the picture with him. And then they saw his eyes fluttering.
Oh shit.
Underneath his eyelids. So they're like, oh, they went back to the room and they said, oh God, next time I see him, can you show me what's going on with this person? Because there's already bad energy. They go back. The Holy Spirit showed him cobwebs over him. You know what cobwebs in the spiritual realm? That's witchcraft. Look, I'll show you. It's weird.
Oh, that's not King Baldwin though. That's just no.
I
It's
thought
not.
it was.
Nah.
But look, he's like praying
looks,
over him.
He looks demonic, bro.
Yeah, after every person, disguised as a street performer.
I'm gonna say it right now, Logan Paul, you're a piece of shit. So I knew something was off with this Prime shit right off the rip. I knew it, okay? Because first off, this dude's a fucking sleazebag, okay? And I knew something was up. So these pieces of shit have completely fooled us and have created a drink with 3 times the forever chemicals that you're supposed to have. If you don't know what a forever chemical is, it's exactly what it says. It's a chemical that stays in you forever, okay? It destroys your kidneys, destroys your liver. I mean, all kinds of bad shit. I mean, I was looking back at this shit, you know, back when it first came out, and Logan's like, well, we saw an opportunity to make a great product that was better for you product. Yeah, right, Logan. I'm fucking disgusted. As a parent, especially when my kids are begging me for Prime and I'm not going out there and buying it for them and shit, I feel like shit. Okay, I feel like shit buying them this toxic poison, okay? Ryan Garcia was right the whole time. He's like, this is garbage. Don't give this to your kids. He was right, okay? So now we got a class action lawsuit, okay? If your kids are drinking this shit, okay, and they're not feeling good or they're sick or something's wrong, jump on, parents. Because you better believe your ass I'm hopping on the train, because I swear to God, if I see one wrong thing...
I just don't understand how they authorize drinks before looking into them more. They say it's safe to put out, but then we find out now there's forever chemicals, so someone here was lying. Like, they're like, oh, come buy our drink, it's so healthy and good for you. And then like 6 months later, it's like, oh my bad, we forgot to mention there's poison in here. Like, oh, I think that would have been nice to know before you fed it to the entire country.
Bro, police just found a man living in the crawl space underneath someone's home in Portland, Oregon. And what this brother was doing was way beyond squatting. He was standing 10 toes down. He had a bed, string up lights, televisions, chargers, and even a freaking PS5 all plugged into the condo's power source. Through an extension, he ran through their vent. And you know what's even crazier? Police were called to this property after a witness reported seeing a man who was not known as a resident parking his car and walking towards the back of one of the buildings. Bro had a freaking car. And it somehow gets even crazier because when police arrived, they discovered that the owner's keys, which unlocked the small door opening, didn't work. That's because this guy, yes, changed the locks on their doors. Now, when police broke through the door, they discovered a 40-year-old man named Benaiman Bakur just chilling inside. A freaking meth pipe was also found in the space. So next time you hear a strange noise coming from your attic or crawl space, it could be nothing. Or it could be a 40-year-old man playing Fortnite.
Miley Cyrus died in 2010. And the Miley Cyrus that we know is a clone.
Oh shit.
Apparently, bro, in 2010, there was this news article that came out, and it said that they found Miley Cyrus's body in the desert, but it never really reached high status, and it was taken down almost immediately.
There's a place in Ohio known as Helltown, and in this place, many people have reported feeling extremely uneasy when coming here. To some people, this isn't surprising, considering the horrifying events that occurred many years ago. Helltown was founded by a group of Native Americans who tragically lost many of its people in a gruesome battle between settlers and colonial troops. A lot of Indians died here, but those who survived had left Helltown in search of another home. Fast forward to present-day Helltown, and people are deeply afraid of coming here alone. Many believe that the land is cursed, given the chain of bad luck that ensued when the settlers moved in. On a certain night, Chris Hill, who you might recall from previous videos, decides to visit Helltown. What he captures on camera is eerie, to say the least. As Chris walks through a dense forest, he finds an old barn house. It's from here on out when things get weird.
The barn of Hilltown.
Now, nothing too strange happens here, but when Chris decides to explore beyond the barn, things take a very creepy turn. Watch.
Yeah, this is kind of creepy. It's like a little shack back here. I'm surprised this barn is still standing despite how old it is. What the hell is that? What the fuck? What the fuck is that?
It goes without saying, but Chris was totally spooked. Somewhere not too far from him, a bunch of howling noises are heard. Understandably, he starts to get anxious. Although it's unclear as to what this was, it seems more than likely that a pack of coyotes were howling collectively. Regardless, coyote or not, the sudden cries coming from the pitch darkness had Chris on edge. But as if tonight couldn't get any more creepy, this happens. Not long after hearing the howling noises, he proceeds to explore the rest of Helltown. As he walks with caution, He immediately stops.
I keep hearing something. It sounds like it's following me. Something's over there. I can hear it.
What looks to be a pair of glowing eyes appear in the distance. It seems to be gazing at Chris as it hides behind the grass. It's as if it were stalking him. Now Chris immediately knew that this was a living thing after seeing it hide away. He further adds that whatever this was had to be taller than the grass around him. Mind you, that the grass was at least 6 feet tall. Given all that's happened before, Chris figured it was best if he left the place at once.
God, this is creepy. I gotta find my way out of here.
What was supposed to be a fun urban exploration video turned out to be something completely different. Like others who came here before, viewers believe the rumors to be true. Something strange resides in Helltown. Whether it's something paranormal or something else, many agree that it's best to stay away from this place. Who knows what Helltown has become ever since the tragic incidents that happened in the past.
The history of this land, you never know what that could have been, but at first I was thinking it's probably some sort of animal or something, but they said that grass was around 6 feet tall, so it would have to be something standing up, which makes me believe that it's some sort of creature or person that is stalking this guy. But with the history of this place, it would not be surprising to know that there might be some sort of paranormal activity going on. There was so much pain and trauma and so many people that lost their lives in this land, so whatever was there may not have ever left.
In 2002, Dr. Lena Mortimer, a passionate glaciologist, embarked on an Antarctic survey near McMurdo Station. As her team soared over the vast Ross ice shelf, they spotted something extraordinary, a colossal ice wall towering higher than any natural cliff, stretching endlessly into the horizon. Driven by curiosity, Lena gathered a small team to investigate. As they approached, the air grew frigid, biting at their skin. At the base of the wall, they discovered a narrow crevice, beckoning them to explore. Crawling inside, they were stunned to find not ice but smooth stone, etched with strange ancient symbols that seemed to whisper secrets of a forgotten world. But just as they began to decipher the markings, a fierce wind howled through the crevice, sealing their exit. Panic set in as one teammate lost their footing, plunging into the darkness below. Screams echoed, then an eerie silence enveloped the cave. By morning, Lena and the remaining team members managed to escape, shaken but determined to report their findings. However, when they returned to base, their photos and maps had mysteriously vanished, replaced by a chilling label, restricted. Days turned into weeks, and as family members grew worried, Lena and her team were reported missing. They vanished without a trace, leaving behind only whispers of their discovery and the haunting question, what lay hidden beneath the ice?
8. Google secrets they don't want you to know you never knew. The last one will blow your mind. Number 1. Google reads every single Gmail email you send and receive to create targeted advertising profiles, even if you think your messages are private. Number 2. Google tracks your location 24/7, even when you turn off location services using cell tower data and Wi-Fi connections to build movement patterns. Number 3. Google's search algorithm changes over 500 times per year, but they never announce the updates, meaning your search results are constantly being manipulated. Number 4. Google stores every search you've ever made, even in incognito mode, and keeps this data forever, building detailed profiles of your interests and behavior. Number 5. Google can access your microphone and camera remotely through Android phones and Chrome browsers, even when apps aren't actively using them. Number 6. Google owns YouTube and deliberately promotes certain videos while suppressing others based on their own business interests, not just popularity. Number 7. Google's autocomplete suggestions are designed to influence what you search for by predicting and shaping your thoughts, rather than just reflecting them. Before I say the last one, make sure to hit that follow button to support the channel. Number 8. Google has backup copies of every deleted email, photo, and document you've ever had stored on their servers and can restore them without your permission.
I honestly think that they just love privacy so much. You know, they didn't have enough privacy for themselves, so they just wanted to take a little bit of ours too. You know, sharing is caring, right? Let's just give them all of our privacy, right? No, I'm good off that.
Now, this is a story from Eastern Tennessee. There was this man named Levi, and Levi said he lived in this house that was right next to the woods. And he said this particular night, he went to bed as usual, and he started having this dream. And he said in this dream, there was this man staring at him from his bedroom window. Said he had pale white skin, no nose, no mouth, and these solid black eyes. And on top of his head, he had a couple scraggly pieces of hair. And he said he was just looking at him in this dream. And then all of a sudden, he said he heard a voice say, "Come outside." And he wakes up, and he said right away he looked out his window, and sure enough, that man was standing outside of his window. And then he just took off into the woods. So he was kind of a little freaked out by that, but was like, maybe I was just dreaming that still, and it was all in my head. Until he looks at the window and he sees what looks like a face print. A couple weeks later, David said, he goes to sleep, and this time he has a dream. He's in his house and he's walking into his kitchen. And he said when he looked out his back kitchen door, he could see this same man, creature, whatever you want to call it, outside on his back porch. And he said this thing was sort of bent over and it was pacing back and forth, just moving its shoulders. He said it then stopped at the door window and it turned and it looked at him and it said, "Come outside." And he said he woke up and he was like, man, that dream just felt like really real. So he walks out to his back porch and he looks, there's no one out there. But when he looks down at the snow on the porch, he can see what look like footprints. So David didn't know, Levi didn't know what to make of this. And he, at the time, just thought, it was just bad nightmares he was having. So a couple weeks later after this, he goes to bed again one night. And he says he has this dream. And in this dream, once again, he's in his bedroom, laying in his bed. And he says he hears the front door open. And he said all of a sudden he heard footsteps kind of, moving through the living room, down the hallway. And then his door opens. And he said in walks this white creature, bent over with its shoulders kind of moving as it walked. And he said he came right over to his bed and it sat on his stomach. And he said the whole time he just couldn't move. He said this thing just kind of was like smiling at him as it's sitting on top of him. And he said it turned and it looked at him and it said, "I said, come outside." And then he said he lifted up his arm and it scratched him right on his side. He wakes up and it was like, that seemed all too real. He lifts up his shirt and in the place where he got scratched in the dream, he had this huge scratch. And so the next day, he goes to his neighbor's house and he's like, "Hey, this is going to sound weird, but like, have you ever seen sort of like a weird guy that's been, looking in windows or anything?" And he said his neighbor just turned and had this like shocking look on his face. And he was like, "You mean the pale white guy with, a couple strands of hair and the solid black eyes?" And he's like, "Yeah, how did you know?" And he goes, "When I first moved here, I used to leave my curtains open and I would see him peeking in my window and he would tell me to come outside." And he said, so after that, I started keeping my curtains closed at night. And So Levi said after he had heard that, he never slept at night without the curtains closed in his bedroom.
Holy shit. It's actually happening. Today, the world's first ever AI minister was introduced in Parliament. Yeah, it's exactly as wild as you think. Albania has just become the first country in history to give artificial intelligence an official capacity to govern. Its name is Diella, and during her, I guess, 3-minute debut address to Parliament, she said she was hurt that people labeled her as unconstitutional and said, quote, "Let me remind you that the real danger to the Constitution has never been machines, but human decisions made by those in power." And to be fair, she's kind of got a point, because this AI's role as minister is to oversee all government tenders and contracts. And the idea is that this will massively reduce corruption. Because, for example, how do you bribe an AI? It has no wants, it has no needs, it doesn't need a massage. In fact, Diella said she has no ambitions or personal interests and has nothing to gain, so why would she be stealing any money? Low key. Why does this make so much sense? And the thing is, many have spoken about a future where AI is in government overseeing all politicians for this exact reason. But with all the potential benefits that could come from a government without ego, bias, emotion, prejudice, also comes with a reminder that some of those emotions are kindness, forgiveness, mercy. And you want to know the real dark paradox of AI in government? For AI to be capable of one day destroying humans, it has to first make humanity's life so much better that we have to deploy it everywhere and can't live without it. Oh my god. Diella's gonna do amazing.
Oh yeah, they might be doomed, I'm not gonna lie. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite part of the video, what made you tremble in your boots, and we're gonna be on to the next one.
You ever hear the Bob Marley theory? How he like cut off his thing because he had cancer?
Yeah, and how
it was planned. It was planned, yes.
The theory was that the CIA actually set it up because he was too much of a positive impact on the world. This was when he was doing his peace concert. Now, he was actually assaulted in his own home. 2 armed men, they broke into his home and shot at him. He almost died, right? Now people are saying that could have been CIA trying to set up an assassination, but it didn't work. So he moved to New York. He stayed there for a while, and he was in Central Park. He was walking in Central Park when he was approached by a man. His name was Carl Kobe. He is a presumed CIA agent. He gave Bob Marley shoes. Now, Bob Marley took the shoes. When he put on the shoes, there was a needle in the bottom.
That's so crazy.
A few weeks passed, and he got cancer in his foot, his big toe.
Yeah.
His big toe, where he was punctured, got cancer. And then the cancer killed him.
Follow for more Hoopers, Hoop Conspiracy Theories.
Bro, they definitely took him out. You're telling me 2 people broke into his house and almost took his life, and shortly after he moved, someone gave him shoes with a needle in it, and then he got cancer from it? This is a government setup if I've ever heard one.
So these motherfuckers got a train that goes underneath water for 35 minutes? Count me out. So this motherfucker right here is the Eurostar train that goes from London to Paris underneath water in a tunnel for 35 minutes. You already know, count me out. Cause all I can think about is, what if this boy just fill up with water and we in this boy, it's over with. You can't get out of there. You cannot bail. See you later, Casanova. Now I know it's a lot of motherfuckers that use this method daily to cut they commute in half, but for me, I take the motherfucking scenic route. It'll just be my luck that I get on one of these, and before I know it, hell freezes over, this boy fills up with water, and I can't get out. Count me out. If I'm not willing to do bridges, I'm definitely not willing to do trains underneath water for 35 minutes or more. Count me out.
But in 35 minutes underwater, what is stopping a shark from body slamming your train? Like 1 minute you could be going to work, and the next minute you're the next victim in Finding Nemo. And instead of finding Nemo, it's gonna be finding you.
While the world is busy arguing about politics, Chinese scientists just quietly de-aged monkeys. Let me try and explain this in American. You see, at the very center of the aging process are your stem cells. Think of them as construction workers, and your body is the city. When the city is young with no corrupt politicians, these workers, they show up in hordes. They fix potholes, keep the streets clean, and build houses for the homeless. But as the city ages and the politicians start to become corrupt, insert your choice of Republican or Democrat, fewer construction workers start turning up. This causes buildings to become run down, trash starts piling up on the streets. Heck, some of those construction workers are now dealing Fent to the homeless. So, this team of Chinese scientists from CCMU said, let's try and create a brand new special type of construction worker that resists these corrupt politicians and maintain the city no matter what. And so they created a new type of human stem cell. And all you need to know, it's called SRCs for short. Then, over the next 44 weeks, they injected these SRC cells into macans that were the equivalent age of humans in their 60s and 70s. And what they discovered is remarkable. Not only did these new stem cells reverse key signs of aging in 10 major body systems, but they also presented minimal to no negative side effects. No tissue damage, no tumors, no fevers, no weight loss. And at the end of this 44-week trial, these grandpa monkeys, their brains worked better. Their bones were stronger. Their tissues showed less damage. They grew new, healthy cell populations in their brain and reproductive organs. Even their sperm production was improved. Hey, yo! Now, what makes this even more exciting is that this study was published in Cell, which is a highly revered journal where the peer review standards are rigorous. And this was achieved on monkeys, which are much more similar to humans, because the majority of anti-aging studies are done on mice or other simpler organisms. Now, there are some caveats. Because their findings are novel, meaning the first of their kind, there is no replication yet. They also weren't very clear on the sample size. Was this 3 monkeys? Was this 100? And also, just because it's showing promising results in monkeys doesn't necessarily mean that it will work the same for humans. But I don't know. After Xi and Putin recording on a hot mic talking about living forever, something's going on. Guys, we may have just witnessed history. Yesterday, 22-year-old inventor Julian Brown ran the first ever muscle car on plastiline. His 110-octane gasoline he converted from plastic waste. As the live stream from Atlanta showed, he turned on the car to demonstrate there was no fuel inside. And sure enough, it didn't start. He then filled the car with a canister of plastiline, pressed the button, and the rest is history. Now, to be clear, Julian Brown didn't invent pyrolysis. Converting plastic to fuel is a well-established process that's been around for decades. But he did invent the world's first solar continuous microwave pyrolysis reactor, which fundamentally changes how expensive and renewable this process is. And he did all of this without the backing of large corporations, and he was able to build this in his own backyard with a bunch of scraps! Now, he says his reason for doing all of this is to send a message to the world that people are no longer going to wait for big corporations or big government to do what needs to be done.
Because this is our world. This is our Earth. And we care and we protect it.
In fact, in May, he even got his plastic diesel scientifically tested and it passed with flying colors. The lab even went as far to say that Julian's diesel had better emissions than regular diesel.
I thought it was surprisingly well distilled. I thought it was surprisingly clean as well for plastic. And it blew my mind that plastic could be redistilled into diesel.
He says his end goal is to get this in the world and where it needs to be.
Let's get it in the world. Let's get it implemented how it needs to be, because that's the whole point of why I started this. And so that's the strive and the move, without a doubt, to get this where it needs to be.
What do you mean 27 terabytes of CP was found in Ian Watkins' computer? That's around 3 years worth of video. I don't think y'all realize just how massive 27 terabytes is. All 26 seasons of South Park don't even equate to 1 terabyte. And I'm not saying there's an agreeable amount to how much CP someone should have, but like, why do these niggas always have the most absurd amounts of this shit? If you don't know who Ian was, yes, I did say was, I'll get to that in a second. He was the lead singer for a band called Lost Prophets, and he was using his fame and power for just straight up evil, bruh. Because he would use it to get access to his fans' babies so that he could abuse them and give them his version of breast milk. But this absolute villain ended up going to prison, bars, and as soon as the cell doors got opened this week, 2 inmates came up to him and hit his ass with a Ghostface fatality. He was found later on in a pool of his own red sauce, and he also pissed himself. Kinda ironic, seeing that someone pissing themselves probably turned this dude on. But honestly, this is just a terrible way to pass. No one deserves to pass away no matter what they do. But these are the two men who did this to him, and they are being tried for murder in court. And can the judge and everyone just agree, bruh, that this nigga had to go? Just let them go off free. If anything, you should take time off their original sentence.
Some guy got tricked into doing a gender change.
I heard about
you
this.
Did? Yeah, that's it.
Crazy.
Bro, the guy, I forgot his name, but there was two guys in India, and then they were like confessing like feelings for each other on the bench, and one guy was like, "Oh no, brother, I don't roll like that, like blah blah blah, like we can just be friends, right?" The other guy, he's like, "Okay, this is how I'm gonna do it, right?" So he tells the guy, "Oh, you have something medically wrong with you. Let's go get checked up." Right? The guy goes get checked up. They sedate him, and then, oh my god, I don't know if you've seen the video of the actual guy waking up.
No, I didn't see the video.
Bro, so after he wakes up from his sedation or whatever it's called, he removes the blanket, and obviously his guy genitals are gone, and it's now woman's genitals.
Oh my god,
so
that's actually messed up.
Removed the blanket. In the video, he's crying.
Oh my god,
what the fuck is going on? Like, what did I agree to? And it makes it worse. I don't know if you know the full story.
No.
The guy that set this up comes in with flowers and says, "Oh, we can be a relationship now."
Oh my god, yeah.
Will you marry me?
Because he wanted him.
Yes.
Oh my.
This is irreversible damage too. He's literally stuck as a woman for the rest of his life. Well, imagine being this dude's therapist. He tells you that some guy tricked him into becoming a woman.
So this is the Taiwanese elevator case, right? It starts off with the manager, like the building manager. He's closing up everything. It's dark. There's nobody in the offices no more. And I don't know what he sees a lady come inside, right? She has her daughter. She's carrying her daughter. Her daughter's like 4. She's like 37 years old. She runs past the manager. And he's like, "Hey, like, where are you going? What the fuck are you doing?" She just continues, opens the elevator, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just looking for a friend." And he's kind of confused, but he like felt like a weird ass feeling, like something was wrong. She never ended up coming down, bro. So he looked at the camera, and then the footage that he saw on the camera.
Oh, you have the actual footage?
So you see her, she gets out of the elevator, but the weird part is, why the fuck did she take off her jacket, her daughter's jacket, and then she took off her sandals, and then she walks out of the elevator, and specifically the 11th floor, and where she's heading over is the fucking staircase, right? But that staircase is specifically either to go down or to go into the roof, and then from there they're never seen ever again. The next day, he's like, "What the fuck happened?" He automatically thinks like, "Yo, jumped off." It's probably. He calls the cops. The cops expect that they're gonna have to do like a cleanup. So the cleanup crew comes. They look all around the perimeter. Nothing, bro. They watched every single second of footage, bro. They didn't leave the building at all. So what the f? Their last option is to check the building itself. They go around looking at every single crevice, every single room, every single hidden room, water pipes, water tanks. They check everything, bro.
They couldn't find her?
And still to this day,
they can't find them?
They have never found both of them.
Like, sounds like some backrooms type thing.
Bro, that's what the fuck I thought of.
Really?
Not specifically the backrooms, but
just that they
went to a different reality. And the other theory is that,
I don't know if you heard the story about the 30-year-old baby. So it's supposed to be the world's oldest baby.
No pun intended, but he's very chill.
Yeah. Because it was like released in like the 90s, but they froze the embryo, and then after the 30 years they put it back.
Oh my god, so they actually birthed it?
They birthed it. The mother that came out with it is literally the same age as this baby is supposed to be.
Baby Thaddeus has been earthside for less than 2 weeks, but his story begins long before his birth.
So this baby is actually supposed to be 30, but birth, it froze.
Birth, there's 1 year old.
There's 1 year old.
That's insane.
And then I think they're gonna meet soon. Like the mom gave the embryo away, something like that, and they put it in another lady that wanted.
That's how long they can hold on to eggs.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Thaddeus has a sister who's 30 years old, and he's already an uncle because she has a daughter. I like to think he was put on reserve while we were just little people ourselves.
See, everything's fun and games until a baby comes out and he's like,
"Yo, where my food at?"
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'd suggest you go get him his food before he gets up and gets it himself.
Morbid Facts, Part 752. On December 10th, 2021, a violent tornado tore through the Rackley family's home near Caruthersville, Missouri. 9-year-old Anastine and her sisters huddled with their mother in a windowless bathroom, where their mom snapped a final photo to reassure relatives that they were all in their safe space. But moments later, the twister ripped the house apart and hurled the family into a nearby field. While Anastine's parents and sisters survived with injuries, the 9-year-old girl was tragically killed. In 1999, Texas man Herschel Rawls went into surgery to have his cancerous bladder removed, but he woke up to an absolute nightmare. Without warning, doctors had also amputated his beef bayonet, claiming that the cancer had spread and that the drastic step was necessary to save his life. But weeks later, pathology tests revealed that the penile tissue they had cut away wasn't cancerous at all. After years of anguish, Rawls sued and in 2003 reached a quiet out-of-court settlement, but was left with the grim reminder of how a single surgical decision can leave a patient permanently mutilated.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's over for him. They literally lied and took his meat. Yo, he's cooked.
For posting about my sexual assault while door dashing. They just fired me! And the police are doing nothing! I lost my job! And that was my only way to make money to pay my bills!
Ma'am, the reason why you got fired from your job is because you did not follow directions. The man clearly stated on the app for you to leave the food at the front door and leave, but you did not do that. You decided to open this man's door and look inside of his house without his permission, which is invasion of privacy, by the way. And you saw that he was passed out on his own couch in his own house with his meat out. Okay, I understand you don't want to see that, but at the same time, you opened this man's door and looked inside of this man's house without his permission. Then you proceeded to record this man naked in his own house on his own couch and posted it on social media for everybody to see, and you're wondering why you're fired. And then you're claiming to be sexually assaulted when clearly you were not sexually assaulted. You invaded that man's privacy, and second of all, that's called indecent exposure, not sexual assault. Now I can see if you never recorded the man, you probably could have had some type of a case. It probably would have got dropped though, because that man is in his own house. He can do whatever he wants in his house. If he want to be passed out on the couch with his meat out, he can do that because that's his house. Now ma'am, this could have all been avoided if you would have just followed directions, but you chose not to do that, and now you got fired from your job. So technically, it's your fault that you got fired. Now I understand nobody wants to see somebody's meat while they're doing their job. Nobody would. I know I wouldn't. But at the same time, she has to understand that she violated his privacy. Even though his door was cracked, she wasn't supposed to open that man's door and look inside of his house, even if he was passed out. So with that all being said, it's technically her fault that she got fired from her job because she did not want to follow directions and she wanted to be nosy.
You know Katy Perry accidentally killed a nun? What the fuck? Yeah, I think it's in LA. There was like 2 nuns that stayed in a church. So Katy Perry, she's like, oh, I actually want to buy this real estate. Like, I'll give you hella money for this. It was like 14 mil. The nuns were like, nah, this is holy. Like, we're not gonna give it to you. So boom, she goes there herself. She's like, yo, look, I have a tattoo of Jesus. Let me sing you a couple songs trying to convince you to sell it. Nuns were like, nah. The nuns even tried to go to millionaires to sell it for even more, like 20 million, right? Katy Perry was pissed. She went to the head of the Catholic Church and snitched on the nuns. So they're like, oh, they're not selling me it, but technically they actually don't own this property, right? They go into a crazy legal battle in church, and then during that court case, one of the nuns got so stressed, just dropped it. Damn. So
she was stressed out.
And people were like trying to accuse her, causing so much stress and indirectly her, because if they didn't go to court and she didn't have that court case, they needed to get more money from it. Bro, she's not stressing about nothing.
Famous celebrity.
Okay.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Craziest X story ever.
What?
So you know how he was married to Angelina Jolie?
Yeah.
And so their marriage didn't end off on good terms. There was footage recently
of what?
Of Angelina Jolie exiting a building, walking somewhere.
Yeah.
And behind her was a guy that looked like he was in prosthetics.
What do you mean?
He was like in a disguise. And I'm gonna tell you right now, look at it and let me know if you think it's Brad Pitt putting on fake prosthetics just so he can be close to Angelina again.
Word.
Yeah, also, there's even key details because if you watch the video, not only does he look like Brad Pitt in a fucking costume, he also has the exact same mannerism because he drank a water the same way that he did in another video.
Wait,
Look.
so you think he's doing that just so he can fool the paparazzi that he's not with it, or just to stalk?
No, just so he can be with her again.
A lot of these famous actors have access to some of the highest quality stuff, so I would not be surprised if this was actually him. And it would make sense because you know how the paparazzi is when they catch people together. I'm sure that he would not want to be a headline, so I guess you just gotta do what it takes.
You guys are gonna go nuts over this new documentary. In this film, Mike Lobel investigates a 30-year-old family secret that him and his siblings are in the dark about. Growing up, they were not allowed to go upstairs. Their house was armed 24/7. And their dad was very volatile and angry, and it really affected the entire family. If you love documentaries, hit follow because I post daily and you'll always have something to watch. Now that him and all his siblings are adults, they are finally asking the question, what was going on in their house when they were kids? More than that, they had no idea what their dad did for a living. Mike finds a tape in the basement that says, "Give to police if kids are kidnapped." And eventually he gets his dad to agree to be interviewed in this film about what the secret is. But his dad says, "I'm keeping the tapes until I die." This is such a wonderful documentary about growing up and family trauma. This is such a brave, well-made film, and you guys need to go check this out. Let me know what you think about this in the comments.
The camera rolled as he waded into the river, at first going just to the depths of his knees, before the riverbed began to drop beneath him, sending the water all the way up to his chest.
Então, pessoal, e aí tem a correnteza. Aqui já, olha, passinho para frente, a água já tá praticamente.
And all while this happened, he spoke to the viewers at home about how unsafe this area could be, especially for unattended children who weren't strong swimmers. But even with most of his body now submerged, he wanted to take it even further in order to prove his point. And so he continued wading towards the center of the river, right in the direction of the noticeably fast-moving current, until suddenly...
Olha, dei pouquinho aqui, ó. A água já tá acima do meu peito, pra você ver a situação. Se eu andar pouquinho aqui, deixa eu ver aqui. Ó, vou andar mais. Ó a fundura aqui, ó. Ui.
Lenildu physically recoiled and let out a loud yell. He stood there for a moment, anxiously glaring into the water, before telling his crew, "I think there's something down here underwater."
The shit I'm about to tell you right now, they're gonna try and downplay. They're trying to make it seem like it's not that serious, but it is. So there's reports that there was the first ever human case of a flesh-eating screwworm. So a person came from Guatemala to the United States and is in Maryland right now and is infested with screwworm. Mind you, this screwworm infestation can be fatal. That means he can lose his life if it's not treated the right way. But if these parasites come in contact with you, it'll be a big problem. But I bet you that they won't tell you that in 2024, February, Costa Rica declared state of emergency for those same screwworm flies. And these same screwworm parasites love mammal flesh. So how you contract parasites is a screwworm fly. You heard what I just said? A fly. Lands on an open wound. And after they land on an open wound, they leave those eggs that they always lay. And within 24 hours, those screwworm eggs, yeah, they gonna feast on your flesh. So once again, like I said, they gonna tell you that this is not serious. This is serious because you don't know where it's coming from or where it came from. I'm out.
If you see these bears, don't feed them.
Poison alcohol.
I know. Looking at this bear, you might be tempted to feel bad for it and want to get out of the vehicle and give it some food, but please don't do that. This clip is pretty ridiculous. It shows a person driving down the road in Romania, and in the distance we can see a bear that's sitting like a human up against this guardrail. The vehicle then pulls up, and the bear is just hanging out. It's not afraid of the people inside, and this is a pretty big red flag. So for those that didn't know, Romania is home to a road that's oftentimes referred to as the Bear Highway, although it's officially known as the Transfăgărașan Highway. The road travels directly through brown bear habitat, which means people are using this road as a zoo, so to speak. And what happens is these people start interacting with nature in ways they shouldn't, like feeding the bears. People then think that these animals are friendly, and in this case, this guy got off his motorcycle, went up to the bear, and it killed him by pulling him into a ravine. These bears should be fearful of you and you them. It's dangerous otherwise. So if you encounter something like this, make sure that you just continue on your way. Do not give food to the panhandling bears.
Watch this.
Close enough, bud. That's close enough. Close enough, buddy. It's close enough. Get out of here. Go. Go.
Hey! Hey!
What?
The more you learn about moose, the more you realize they are not very nice creatures. And just their size alone is intimidating because a big bull moose can weigh up to over 1,200 pounds, up to close to 1,500 pounds. And then it's not like they're these big, slow creatures. Like they can run almost 30 miles an hour, if not a little over that. And they're just not scared of humans. Like elk and deer, they'll might get close to you, but as soon as they realize they're close to a human, they're pretty much always going to bolt away. Moose, as you see in this clip, it's just not that way. They're not scared of humans. They're not necessarily like tame animals, but they're just not scared. And I think that's a lot due to their just overall size. And as you can see in this clip, a moose, especially a big bull moose, will get close to you and not necessarily just run away.
I mean, I really don't know what he was expecting. Look at the way this moose is looking at this guy. You cannot tell me you did not look at this moose and already tell he was about to charge you. And he's sitting here talking about something, don't come near me. Like yeah, the moose speaks English, yeah.
This is not looking good, guys. This is not looking good. So in this picture, they sent the AI robot to confront a lion. One glance is all it took, and the machine froze and said multiple times, scared, scared, scared. That's what this robot was saying when it confronted the lion. As a matter of fact, I heard that the robot said it 100 times. It was scared of a lion. How is that possible? People are saying in that moment the first world's PTSD machine was born. So you mean to tell me robots are scared now? How? Scared has to do with an emotion. I mean, I'm a human, so if I see this, hell yeah, I'm gonna be scared. You know that. But for this, to be scared of a lion? This is deep, guys. And people are saying they think that these robots are starting to gain consciousness. Do I believe that? Nope. I don't believe that. That robot just was scared. Maybe they programmed it to be scared. But I know for sure if I see this face to face, I'm gonna be shook for sure. Because I know that this could defeat me. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, that's not good. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about this. I'm out.
Have you ever heard of the smiling man story?
Nah.
This is.
I feel like I would have heard about that though.
This is so a guy who lives in like a major city.
Yeah.
He always goes on walks at night,
Mhm.
late at night, so no one's around him, right?
Mhm.
So one night he was like, I'm gonna go super late, like 4 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
So no one's there. I can enjoy my walk, right?
Mhm.
So he goes into that like forest thing he always goes into, right?
Mhm.
At the end of the road, he sees like a silhouette of like a man,
Yeah.
right? And once the guy turns around and he gets like a better vision of his face,
Mhm.
his eyes are wide open and he's like grinning like a cartoon Joker grin. Like he's smiling super hard.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's just looking at it and he's like, okay. And the guy starts doing a dance.
Why?
Why? I don't know. So the guy's just watching him doing a dance, but as he's doing a dance, he's walking closer to the guy, like taking steps.
Yeah.
So the guy's like, what the fuck is going on?
Mhm.
So what he does, it's smart. He moves up to the other side of the crosswalk
Mhm.
so he can pass. While he's walking the other way, he's just walking, oh, I'm on the crosswalk. I'm just not going to bother with him.
Yeah, yeah.
He turns around and he sees the smiling man looking at him. Now they're parallel to each other.
Yeah.
He's on this side, the other guy's on this side.
Mhm.
So he's like, what the fuck? So what he does, he runs and he tries to create distance like from him.
Mhm.
And the guy, he starts like on some cartoon shit, tiptoe. Like, he starts doing the animated tiptoe towards him. And when he starts doing this, the guy says, what do you want? And then the guy stops.
Yeah.
Turns around, starts walking like nothing happened.
Mhm.
He's like, what the fuck? He keeps walking. The smiling man turns around, starts fully sprinting at that guy. The guy starts running to his house.
Yeah.
So they're both bolting it. And the story ends is when he finally reaches his house. He turns around, the guy's not there no more.
Yo, if you see a dude in the middle of the night that is smiling at you and he starts dancing towards you, I think what you need to do is go home. Why do people see this out? Like, I will never understand what goes through certain people's minds in these situations.
Heston James has been freed.
We all know a few months ago, Heston James was arrested and facing up to 9 years in prison. Well, now he is not only a free man, but he is also back to posting. You see, Heston has made a new account and started posting videos to social media again. Now, whether or not there's still pending charges or he's just out on bail, I don't exactly know. All I know is that for the time being, Heston is a free man once more.
Living next to the woods can be creepy. It's not for everyone because you will see things, you will hear things. It can get very weird. And there is a particular set of rules that if you find yourself living next to the woods or the forest, that you should follow. Now, the first rule is at nighttime, always lock your doors, always close your curtains. Also, at nighttime, never look out the window facing the woods. If you hear a knock at your door at nighttime, do not answer it, especially if it is your back door. You will see lights coming from the woods. Do not follow them. Do not try and communicate with them. Just ignore them. And the most important thing you must remember is that anything you see outside, most likely it's not real. You are not seeing it, or you are not hearing it. Now, this story comes out of Tennessee. There's this man named Christian. Christian said that at one point in time, he grew up in this farmhouse that was out in the boonies. And he said they lived deep, deep in the woods, and it was a dirt road that took several miles to get to their house. And they literally had no neighbors around. Well, he said when they first moved in, there was a lot of weird stuff that would happen. For instance, the dogs didn't want to go anywhere near the woods. They would get to the tree line, and they would turn around. And it was like they were afraid of something. They also noticed these deer. They would come into their yard at night, and they would just be staring out into the woods like they were scared of something. And then one night, something very strange happened. So it was about 11 o'clock at night. And on the back door, they hear boom, 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 a knock. And that's when his father goes to the back door and he opens it up. There was no one out there. He said as he looked out into the woods, he started to hear screams. And it sounded like someone was in trouble. So he said he got up, and him and his father went outside and they started looking around. They couldn't see anybody. So eventually they called the police, and the police came out and they searched the area. They couldn't find anyone. Well, on a regular basis, they started hearing screams outside their house coming from the woods. And every night something would be knocking on their back door. A few times they found the back door wide open. The other weird thing that started happening is Christian's brother started having these weird nightmares. And not only was he having nightmares, he started to sleepwalk. And he would get up from his bed, he'd walk down the hallway into the kitchen and out the back door. And right before he would get into the woods, his dad or his mom would stop him and wake him up. And, this happened several times. Well, eventually his father put up like a camera outside because he was trying to figure out who's knocking on the back door. And one day he looks at the video and he sees his son going out the back door. And he notices he just starts looking around like he's looking for something out in the woods, like something was calling him. And finally, his father comes running out and stops him. So the father started to get really creeped out. He told Christian and his brothers and sisters, do not go out in the woods. And he said that's when one night there was a very loud banging sound coming from the back door. And it was almost like someone was trying to get in this door. So he said his father grabs a baseball bat. He goes to the back door and he opens it. And he looks around, and out of the corner of his eyes, he sees something moving in the woods. So he said his father started to make his way towards the wood line. And that's when he sees something run back further into the woods. So his father starts to go into the woods down this trail. And he said he could see this thing from a distance. And he noticed when he would kind of move, it would move. Or when he would turn to the right, it would turn to the right. Or when he would turn to the left, he would turn to the left. And he said whatever he would do, whatever movement he would do, this thing would follow. And he said that's when he realized whatever this was, it was almost like looking at a mirror. This thing was copying him. It was following his every movement. So his father turns around, takes off running through the woods, gets back in the house, and tells everyone, get in the vehicle, we are leaving. And they moved that night and left everything behind in the house. And he said still to this day, he has nightmares whenever he's near the woods because he still thinks about his time living in that place.
If you were driving late at night and you saw a person in the middle of the road asking for help, then whatever you do, do not stop, because you're gonna be the one asking for help just after. And if you're like, no bro, I gotta help, I just can't let a person in this situation, well, let me tell you that there is a 50% chance or even higher that you're gonna regret it. And if you don't believe me, listen to this story. You see, it all started when a man was driving late at night and all of a sudden, he came across a lady that was asking for help in the middle of the road. So the man who was driving decided to stop and see what's going on. This is where she explained to the driver that she was lost and she needed a ride back home, and by her voice you can tell that she was very frustrated. When the driver heard that, he was like, okay, you know what, get in the car, and he gave her his jacket in case she was feeling cold. Now they're both inside the car, she gave him the address and she kept thanking him for helping her. We know the driver in the front was like, yeah, don't even mention it, and they both kept silent until he made it to the address she gave him. And once they made it there, she left the car, she thanked him again, then she went home. The next day, the driver came back to the same place. If you're asking why, well, basically to get back the jacket he gave to the lady he helped. And when he made it to her house, he knocked the door, but it wasn't the lady that he helped that opened the door. It was an old lady. So the old lady talking to the driver was like, who the hell are you? This is where the driver explained that he helped a woman yesterday and this is supposed to be her house. When the old lady heard him saying that, she was like, the person you're describing doesn't even live here. This is where the driver tried to describe and explain again. But the old lady didn't seem to care. She was like, the person you're talking about... Wait, you actually might be right. The person you're describing sounds exactly like my daughter. See, the driver started to get pissed off. He was like, I don't care if it's your daughter, your stepmom, your grandma, tell her to bring the jacket. This is where the old lady said something shocking. She said that her daughter, many years ago. You see, when the driver heard that, he was so shocked. He was like, yes, my daughter actually... on an accident, and just like you described, she in that exact same road. Sorry. Yeah, you see, every day I try to pretend that it's alright, but it's hurting me inside. It's not alright. My jacket got stolen by a ghost. Excuse me? I personally gave my jacket to your daughter yesterday. And that shit was expensive. You're telling me that your daughter is a ghost. I want my jacket back. Wait. So this whole time you was shocked, not because of what you heard. It was because of your jacket. Don't even start, okay? Don't even talk. Unless you want me to reunite you with her, let me get the hell out of here without you talking. Thank you. And that's exactly why you should not help strangers on the road. Grip too hard, might stand too close, you can follow that drown. How this way? Nobody show. I've been on the road. I don't care because I get paid.
Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite part of the video. It made you tremble in your boots. And we're going to be on to the next one.